close your eyes, let that rhythm get into you. Don't try to fight it, there ain't nothing for you to do. Relax your mind, lay back and groove with mine. You gotta feel that heat, and we gon' ride the boogie. Share that beat of love. I wanna rock with you all night, dance you in today. Sunlight. I wanna rock with you, yeah, all night. We gon' rock the night away. Out on the floor, ain't nobody there but us. Girl, when you dance, there's a magic that must be love. Just take it slow, cause we got so far to go. When you feel that heat, and we gon' ride the boogie. Share that beat of love. I wanna rock with you all night, dance you in today. Sunlight. Wanna rock with you. We gon' rock the night away. And when the groove is dead,
You raggedy bitch.
you know that love survives, so we can walk forever.
It's a little shit like
I
that.
wanna rock
Let's
with you.
be but no.
Groove with you.
What it is you really do.
I need to be on a goddamn schedule, I see. I just need to be on a damn schedule. It's over. I think I'm not gonna say the video game content is over, but it might be. I might be cooked. I might be cooked. Welcome everybody. I'm your host with the motherfucking most chill motherfucking Murray. You are now tuned in live from the spot. Shout out to everybody tuning in, not tuning in. You know how we doing, how we rock. I am back in the regular room. I'll put the camera on in a second. I'm back in the regular room. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Necessary Evil. Who's this? The Black Bleach. What's going on? You finally caught alive? That's what's up. That's what I was just saying to myself, damn, I might be cooked. I might be cooked as far as the video game content. I keep trying to convert the channel. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I have a purpose. Here in the world, and I don't think it's video games anymore. As good as I am at them, as much as I love playing video games, as much as I am into technology, I wanted to be a gamer. I wanted to be a streamer that was streamed my games. I was trying to have my cake and eat it too, as you could say. Trying to have my cake and eat it too. It's just not working out, I guess. I don't know. But they say Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, I started off on just talking to one or two people on Twitch, so for a year straight before I even decided to say, hey, maybe I should turn the YouTube on. And then everybody started showing up. D, what's going on? What's going on, my brother? And I showed up on YouTube. And then, of course, Nipsey, Diddy happened. So on and so forth. So I've also started recently just showing stuff on the Instagram. They done lit my ass up over the Tekashi 6ix9ine thing. Woo, child. they lit my ass up calling Tekashi a clone. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I don't have to be right or wrong right away. That has always been my thing. I don't have to be right or wrong right away. I'm not the person that will immediately apologize for some shit I might be right about later on down the line. Because if I'm right about it later on down the line, and it's like, oh, well, he didn't really know if he was right or wrong. He ended up so I'm just leave it where it's at right now. I ain't going to explain it. The reason why I ain't going to explain it, the whole Tekashi 69 clone thing, I ain't going to explain it because if you've seen this live, if you've seen the videos in the past, you know good and goddamn well I'm not just making shit up just to make shit up. I've never done that. I never will. If I have something, best believe it's backed by something. Even if you don't see it right away, it is backed by something or a source from somewhere. But no, just to briefly go over it, the Tekashi 69 clone thing, like I said before, I've showed on the podcast here before actual clones. Like you've seen the video of the rapper that actually brought his clone onto the camera. You guys seen that video. So I'm still the same guy that showed you the Area 51 alien. Okay, I'm still the only guy that really said fuck it. I'm gonna show the whole interview of this Area 51 alien and the guy that vanished after he was not supposed to release the footage. I'm still the guy that put that one out there. Okay, I'm still the guy that showed y'all Project Blue. I'm still, you know what I mean. So we still gonna do what we do. And now that this damn doomsday plane has landed in LA a couple hours ago, my antennas are going up. My antennas are going up. They talking about pizza stock is skyrocketing, and whenever that happens, that is usually a sign of war or some sort of nature is happening in the distant future, in the near distant future. So we're going to get into some of those things. I was going to talk about the Aiden Ross thing. But I didn't feel like it was necessary just yet. Also, the whole Joshua Anthony and Jake Paul thing. My chair too far up under here. It is. My chair is too far up under the desk. The whole Joshua Anthony and Jake Paul thing. I think I'll say that one for another time. Especially when Mike Tyson is coming out saying, "Yeah, I was supposed to follow a script." We know that, Mike. We know that already. We know you were supposed to follow a script for that particular fight, and you weren't allowed to win, but you were paid handsomely. I said, well, damn, Mike made more in that one fight than he made in his whole career. Ain't that some shit? Of course he didn't turn it down. But Joshua Anthony said, fuck that. And you know what happened a week later? All of a sudden, his friend and manager are dead when he decided to say, fuck that. Just little things like that I take notice to, you know? All of a sudden, Joshua Anthony has a brand new chain that he's presented with the same exact week that his friend and manager died in a car crash. It's little things like that I take notice to, you know? So, anywho, we'll leave those things alone. We gonna get into the meat and potatoes. This evening. So, let's see. Where should we start first? I just want to get this out the way. Only because, where's my TMC at? Here's my TMC report. Oh, there we go. Hopefully I got no ad or nothing right here. It's going to play before I do this. Doo-doo-doo. Why is my phone going off? Oh. Somebody just went live. Okay. I think I'm going to just start doing Fridays and Saturdays. That might be my new thing. Mondays. Maybe I should be on a schedule. Monday, Wednesdays, Friday, and Saturday. I should just do that. We should just do 4 a week. You know, we should just be on a schedule. I think I'm going to start doing that starting this week. Starting with this Friday episode here. As y'all can see, my hair is growing beautifully. I'm taking more of a liking into the growth of things. I've taken more of a liking into the growth of hair. Hair is supposed to be strength. And the black man's hair is supposed to be very important. Black hair in general is supposed to be important, not just black man's hair. Black hair is supposed to be very important. So I've noticed the aura and electricity that it does have, and the energy it does have, and the wonders that it can do. So more fortune, more good luck. Not even fortune. I definitely can't say fortune, but more good luck than anything has come to my way since I started growing my hair. And like I said, it just started to look better. It just started to look better for me. It feels like a much better look. I I I feel like that's too much of the young me with the Caesar. I might go back with the dark Caesar one time and then grow this out again. But for right now, I love where my hair is going. I love where my hair is going, and I definitely feel like I'm gonna end up locking it within the next year or so. At least in another year. At least another year. I don't think it's time for it yet. Maybe in like 6 or 7 months I'll check in on it, but for right now I don't see a need to lock it. I like the way it's growing out right now. I love the way it's growing out right now. My roots are looking very good right now. They're looking very good right now. And I was always told I had gray hair. Always told I had gray hair. Um, so first things first. I know you can't see the title here, but this came across my timeline. Ray J hospitalized with pneumonia 4 years after infection made him fear for his life. Now, the reason why this stood out to me so much is because every single time a celebrity is at a possibility of passing or they get a warning of some sort, it is always pneumonia. If y'all haven't noticed, in the past, it's always pneumonia. If it isn't them dying of it, it's them getting the warning of the pneumonia. So this time, I think Ray J has gotten his final warning with this pneumonia and heart trouble. Regardless of him having the 4 years of a scare last, I should say the 4 year scare. Um, this is also riding off of the whole Kim Kardashian lawsuit thing. I just saw Tisha Tell's post earlier. Oh, the Kim Kardashian lawsuit on Ray J is gaining traction. And then all of a sudden, this nigga ends up in the hospital the same week with pneumonia, right? We've all heard the pneumonia thing, right? With these celebrities, right? Ella, Kim, Kim Porter, pneumonia, right? You can name a couple of other celebrities that had pneumonia randomly before their passing, or they got some type of warning to shut up about what you know with the Hollywood elites. So when I'm seeing this footage of him in the hospital, I said, "Oh, they got them."
They gotta take it out.
If they see something around my heart, do they gotta take it out?
Take your heart out?
We're talking about like
the stuff that
fluid
they
or
see out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like if it was like a clot or anything. They probably use some kind of blood.
yeah. They didn't think like your heart sits in a sac, and there's a little bit of fluid around the sac. But is that what you're speaking of?
Yeah.
Yeah, like extra fluid or.
You see that.
The cardiologist is going to look at it further. So it takes about 15, maybe 20 minutes at the most. Okay.
That's his heart.
Yeah.
So Ray J has been admitted to Las Vegas hospital last night with a severe case of pneumonia and heart pains. TMZ learned a source close to the R&B singer tells TMZ Ray J remains in the hospital where he has received X-rays and echocardiogram. No word yet on the results. This follows a serious case of pneumonia Ray J had 4 years ago during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The 44-year-old One Wish singer was diagnosed with non-COVID pneumonia in 2021 and was so bad, we were told Ray J thought he would die. The bout put him on oxygen and temporarily required him to use an inhaler, but he later recovered and soon after was breathing fine again. 3 weeks ago, Ray J announced from Tampa, Florida, that he was hitchhiking across the country. It's unclear if that's how he traveled to Vegas or if it had anything to do with his illness. Now, I do remember that, and I also showed you guys the footage of Ray J doing the whole hitchhiking thing and him saying, oh, he was doing a hitchhiking show and all this stuff. And I'm like, something don't sound right. Something don't sound right. Ray J sounds like he's more on the run and moving around than anything. This is perfect example, right? This is how, remember how Kanye was just sporadically going from place to Wyoming to Utah, all this other shit, right? Like he was in this country and that country all of a sudden when he started dissing Kim Kardashian. Notice Ray J's doing and following the same exact pattern of sporadic movement to where he's never in one particular place or trying to stay in one particular place. And then this is the I'm gonna make him look crazy stage. I kept saying that. I was like, once Ray J decided to come out and say Kim Kardashian and them are not witches, but also agree with Kanye saying that these girls, the Kardashians are traffickers and things like that, and he knows things and he's being held against his will, being paid a lot of money. Once he started saying all those things, notice how it was almost like a domino effect of things that were happening to Ray J. From this to him saying he was even him protecting not protecting Diddy, but him doing the joke about asses being taken and whatnot. Notice how Ray J has become more and more like open about things that's actually going on in Hollywood. And as he does, more and more things have been happening to him as far as bad luck goes. But that's because that's the price you actually pay when you make those, those pacts with the elite. This is the result 90% of the time. 90% of the damn time. When you go against the grain and you bite in the hand that actually has been, you made it public and clear and confirmed that they have been feeding you lots and lots of money to be quiet. When you bite the hand that feeds you, sometime make it bite back. And this is its way of biting back. And like I said, I've been hearing more and more rumblings of the Kim Kardashian lawsuit against him. The countersuit against him is gaining more and more traction, whereas his lawsuit that he was talking about putting on Kim is starting to dwindle down, especially when you have the situation that happened with his ex-baby mother at the Thanksgiving. The situation that happened at Thanksgiving with the him pulling out a gun. It's just more and more thing. Then you see the video of him outside with the new girlfriend or whatever, and the new girlfriend, and it's almost like different comedy skits going on, but it's not really comedy skits. It's actually real life, and we're just thinking because Ray J's a jokester that it's a joke. Him being outside in Vegas, for example, with no money, just pretty much just almost like wandering around with his girlfriend type shit. Then I mean, but then you see him in the LA homes. We don't know if those homes are rented or he owns those homes, things like that. Like I said, him being up all weird hours of the night, all of a sudden making music and dropping a song. Just like I said, just random sporadic movement from Ray J. And like I said, I've seen this pattern happen before with Kanye. I've seen this pattern happen before with a lot of different celebrities that end up messing with the Kardashians. And this is usually the end result of them getting these celebrities getting hospitalized, so on and so forth. Prayers out to Ray J. He is one of those people that did start to tell the truth about things. I do hope that he gets, the proper rest. I hope he comes back healthy. And if he does have anything that he'd like to share, I hope he just gets it out instead of just beating around the bush about it like he has been the past year. Instead of beating around the bush about it, Ray J, just let us know what the fuck you need to know. That's all. Let us know what you know, Ray J. Stop holding it in. Stop waiting to get money out of it with a lawsuit. Let us know what the hell you have seen, been around, so on and so forth. You did it on Cam Newton. You did it with the pastor. You might as well just make a whole video and let us know what you know. Let us know what you know. Now, speaking of letting us know what you know, I guess we should start with the Venezuela. No, actually, no, we won't. Yeah, we can. 'Cause I feel like that's going to lead us into where we are, actually. So let me start with, because I'm going to be educating myself in real time here with you guys on this whole Venezuelan president thing. So I looked up a couple of videos today, including mainly the reason why this gentleman was even captured in the first place. I want to take a look at that real quick before, like I said, we get into all the other things.
Nicolas Maduro and his wife will appear in a Manhattan federal court today. The former dictator of Venezuela is now in a New York jail cell after the daring U.S. military raid that captured him.
President Trump says the United States is now in control of the South American country. Venezuela's interim president...
Daring my ass. They just stop over-exaggerating shit with daring. It wasn't nothing daring about when they went and killed Osama bin Laden, because he didn't even exist.
...disagrees. CBN's Dale Hurd reports.
Nicolas Maduro will be charged with narco-terrorism and drug trafficking. His lawyers are expected to argue his arrest was illegal and that as a head of state, he's immune from prosecution. Operation Absolute Resolve, the joint military law enforcement arrest of Maduro early Saturday morning, came after the White House says the Venezuelan leader rejected several deals to step down from power. The operation, led by Delta Force operatives, involved 150 air...
Mad Hatter, what's going on? Now, the craziest thing is, I had been sent a couple of videos on this, right? And a couple of them were saying that this was planned. This was pre-planned, that instead of him stepping down from government, he pretty much just planned to get caught and arrested. But a part of me is also saying that might not necessarily be the case, that this was something that was pre-planned for it to happen to him, or should I say that he planned. I'm thinking more along the line. Well, here's the thing, right? I'm going to continue to watch this, but the more and more information that's coming out, this is one of those things where we just got the gun to your head and you're going to do what we say or else. That's what this is starting to sound like. This, as much as I want to believe, like I said, the videos that I've seen about him planning to step down through the deal that was made, but this is more sounding like how, I guess, for lack of better words or examples, remember how Kurt Burrows pretty much was called to the office and Diddy had the bat then said, either you gonna give up your 25% or we gonna whip your ass and take your 25%. That is pretty much what is going on here.
Craft. Maduro was reportedly captured just as he was trying to close the door on a safe room. The attack killed about 32 Cubans who make up his security forces. One U.S. helicopter was hit but continued its mission. U.S. officials say about a half dozen soldiers were injured in the operation. Venezuelans around the world celebrated. Some Democratic leaders called the arrest of Maduro illegal.
It's a violation of the law to do what they did without getting the authorization of Congress.
The president says the U.S. is in control of Venezuela.
We're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
We're in charge.
But it appears Venezuela's interim president and other officials of the Maduro administration are in control. Delcy Rodriguez is a longtime ally of Maduro, and at first she demanded he be returned, but then struck a more conciliatory tone after Trump threatened a stronger response. Untangling the corrupt Venezuelan government could be very complicated. The Venezuelan military has long been embedded with Cuban officers. Venezuela is allied with Iran, even welcoming Hezbollah operatives, as well as the Russians and Chinese. 8 million Venezuelans fled the nation under the rule of Maduro and Hugo Chavez. 3 million are in Colombia, where Chuck Holton is watching the border traffic.
Every other time I've been to the bridge behind me between Colombia and Venezuela, it's been the scene of absolute chaos, mostly Venezuelans trying to flee their country and get across into Colombia. And I wondered if coming back this time, now that Maduro is gone, there'd be Venezuelans heading back home. But that's not really the case. As a matter of fact, there's probably more journalists on that bridge right now than there are Venezuelans. That's because the Venezuelans say, while they're very happy that Maduro is gone, the regime is still in place, and they're not going to go back home until they know that they can do so safely and not be under the thumb of what's left of the Maduro regime.
Some experts believe Venezuela may have as much as 6 times the oil reserves of the United States. Hugo Chavez ran U.S. oil companies out of the country, and its oil sector is now operating at just 18% capacity.
And supposedly that's what the deal is about. Pretty much they're giving up their percentage and their rights to this oil. That's supposedly what this whole thing was about, and the pre-planning of him being caught or whatever is because he actually made a deal with Trump in the U.S., and to make it seem like he did not, he's making it seem like he got arrested in his place. So, like I said, that's just what the whispers are saying, that because of the ownership that he had over this oil and the land, he ended up doing a deal with Trump to where he would get caught and arrested and turn himself in, so to speak, allow himself to get caught, I should say, and get arrested in return of this deal here for the oil.
Trump wants to revive it for the benefit of both countries.
Venezuela right now is a dead country. We have to bring it back, and we're going to have big investments by the oil companies to bring back the infrastructure.
New Venezuelan President Rodriguez now says she wants to work with the U.S. Trump has warned the U.S. could launch a second strike on Venezuela, quote, if they don't behave. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, CBN chief political analyst David Brody joins us now for more. So and
we're not going to play the video here, but they already said a couple hours ago, Trump said he's not, the second wave of attacks is not even going to be necessary. I was going to play that video, but it's no need to. But he said the second wave of attacks is not even going to be necessary, which that, again, speaks volumes to what we were just talking about, where if you don't even feel like a second wave to take out the quote-unquote leftover regime is necessary, then it just goes to show that maybe a little bit of this was actually planned to happen, you know, from the get-go. Now it's becoming more and more evident that this might have been planned.
Administration's calling this a law enforcement operation. What's the bigger picture?
Well, they're calling it a law enforcement operation because they believe, and they have said, that Nicolas Maduro is a narco-terrorist, that he's not the leader of Venezuela, he's not the president of Venezuela. He can call himself that. Others might recognize him inside the country. Well, clearly inside Venezuela, they recognize him as that. But the United States did not. And so therefore, it is a law enforcement mechanism or an actual enforcement. And that's where they're going on this. So Gordon, I think that's why you continue to hear Marco Rubio and others continue to say that. And clearly, that'll be the case going forward.
Well, is this a case where, you know, if you break it, you own it? You know, I'm looking at the new Venezuelan leader, you know, Delcy Rodriguez. Her father was a leftist guerrilla. I mean, he kidnapped an American businessman. He died under torture in police custody. Her and her brother are very influential. She's not just, she's the vice president. He's in charge of the legislature. And they both seem to be deeply embedded with Hezbollah and some Lebanese businessmen who are trying to control a great deal of the economy of Venezuela. It just doesn't make any sense that you'd come in and say, okay, well, we've now won it in a lightning strike if you're not trying to deal with that deep corruption and the deep influence of Iran, Hezbollah, China, Russia in Venezuela. Aren't we now fully committed? Don't we really do need boots on the ground?
Well, we're about to find out the answer to a lot of those questions here in the next 30, 60, 90 days, probably within the next 6 months, definitely for sure. And then we can all reevaluate that. But Gordon, you're right on Delcy Rodriguez.
Thank you for saying that. Swayze World, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, so I don't know where you guys didn't catch me at, but let me just read that over again. So supposedly it is actually illegal to take presidents of other countries into custody. Now, apparently there's supposed to be some type of deal. I don't know if you caught me when I said this part. Apparently there's supposed to be some type of deal that Maduro had made with Trump to where he takes over the oil percentage. He takes over the oil, I should say, of the land in exchange for him turning himself in and stepping down. So instead of Maduro actually stepping down and just, you know, giving his power away, he made it look like he got caught and pretty much turned himself into custody in return for the actual oil. So, like, again, to make it seem like he still has some type of integrity and, you know, type of hold over Venezuela, he didn't want to make it look like he just stepped down and gave the oil away. He got himself caught and arrested. Now, two things can be true here. It is illegal, though, from what I'm reading, that capturing a sitting president of another country is generally considered legal under international law due to violations of sovereignty and head of state immunity. But the U.S. has previously justified such actions under domestic legal interpretations, citing inherent presidential authority and legal doctrines that allow trials even if the capture was unlawful, creating a conflict between international norms and specific U.S. legal precedents, similar to the Noriega case, which in Noriega's case, the coke dealer, he wasn't actually a president of anything. In this particular case, it's like they don't necessarily, you know, they're saying that Maduro wasn't actually president of Venezuela, but like I said, I'm not hearing anybody step up and say, hey, I'm the real president of Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro is the real president of Venezuela. So, again, this is a thing of integrity where he's trying to save face and say, I didn't necessarily just give up my rights to the oil or give up my rights to the land. I didn't give up my power to the land. I just got arrested. So in return, they get the oil. This isn't necessarily anything about saving the people or, you know, making Venezuela safer. This is more about the power and the control of the oil. Again, more money and power. Okay, this isn't, like I said, anything to do with them trying to make Venezuela safer. Nothing to do with that. Hell, they can barely make America safer. So why would they try to make another country safer? You know what I mean?
Yes. Look, I mean, if Maduro's wife was the right-hand woman, if you will, Delcy Rodriguez was also a right-hand woman carrying out many of those devious tasks, deadly tasks there in Venezuela and around the globe. There were sanctions against her by the United States and others. We haven't even talked about the defense minister and the interior minister, all working and still there as part of the Maduro regime. So when President Trump says we're running the country, he's obviously not talking about how there's actual U.S. personnel setting up office and shop right there in Caracas. What he's talking about, clearly, is that they're calling the shots. And Delcy Rodriguez and the defense minister and the interior minister better play ball, and maybe they will now after seeing what happened to Maduro, or they're going to be out on their, quote, keister, if you will. Whether or not it works, I don't know. I was talking to a couple of experts this morning that have been following the situation there. They believe ultimately this will be about fair and free elections within 6 months. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition.
Well, there was an election. Maduro lost that election and then stayed in power. Why isn't the administration trying to put that that group that won the election, why aren't they in charge now?
Because they don't have the actual infrastructure, military and otherwise, to actually take control right now. And in essence, that's the short answer. And they do want to see if Delcy Rodriguez and others will kind of play ball with them a little bit here, because after the Maduro resolution, I'm sorry, what was it, Operation Absolute Resolve, that they believe that these folks will play ball. Now, whether or not, if they don't, then that changes the calculus. And then we can talk more about the opposition leaders coming in. But right now, the Trump administration doesn't believe that Maria Corina Machado and, of course, others will be able to take, in essence, control right now. They don't have the structure to do that right this moment.
Well, it's got to be better than Delcy Rodriguez. I mean, she goes back to Hugo Chavez, and you don't get any more leftists and anti-American. Is there going to be a game here where, we sort of pretend that we run? The people in Venezuela say, we'll play ball for the next 3 years, but you're going to have an election of your own, and there'll be a new administration that won't care about us, and we'll be back to business as usual.
I think that's a real potential concern. And that kind of goes to the larger issue as it relates to how MAGA feels about all of this politically. I mean, there's a situation there clearly about whether or not this is MAGA or not. And you're going to have the Trump administration say, look, this is, in essence, the Trump version of the Monroe Doctrine. They're calling it the Don Doctrine, basically saying, look, this is our backyard. The Western Hemisphere is in our backyard, and we're not going to have bad actors in our backyard. Now, whether or not MAGA buys that or not remains to be seen. I think we have a conversation again in a couple of months, 3 months, 6 months to see, well, how many
key word there to just they ain't slip past me, bad actors.
Boots are on the ground. And if you're going to have boots on the ground, you're going to have to protect those oil refineries or the actual oil infrastructure, I should say, there in Venezuela. That's going to require United States troops. Well, how many? I mean, in Iraq, there were, about 250,000 troops on the ground back then. This is not Iraq. At least that's what the administration says. There's not going to be 250,000 American troops in Venezuela. At least that's what they say now. We'll see what happens in the future. But if that's the case, if this becomes drawn out, while it's not nation building, and while they're not trying to say democracy, they're not trying to basically make Venezuela America, they're not doing any of that. They are, in essence, putting some boots on the ground. And the question is how many, and we don't know the answer to that.
Well, if Iraq's a lesson for us, the oil infrastructure of Iraq has not recovered to this day. If Afghanistan is a lesson for us, 20 years of military boots on the ground didn't lead to substantial change. Are we going to see it? Let me give you another history lesson, and you took it all the way back to the Monroe Doctrine. Let's take it back to Noriega. It just seemed to be odd that the very same day, January 3rd, back in 1990, under Bush 1, it's almost identical operation, but a whole lot more military commitment in that operation. Are there any parallels there? And did Bush pay any kind of political cost for taking Noriega?
Well, the political parallels are more in the charges that were brought up against Noriega and Maduro, very similar. As it relates to Noriega himself back in 1989, when George H.W. Bush gave the order to go in and get him, as you know, Gordon, I mean, Noriega was working with the CIA until he wasn't. And said at that point, no, I don't like your plan in terms of what I'm supposed to do. And then all bets were off. And also, let's remember, from just a military standpoint, this was such a precision strike. I mean, no American soldiers hurt, no actual equipment damage. Of course, in the 1989 invasion, when they took Noriega, 23 American service members died in that. So there's a difference. And
see, that's another thing. It's like you got to pay attention to what they're saying. You see how he just made when Noriega got caught, niggas was going to war. Like, it was blood in the streets with Noriega. Wasn't no blood in the streets here. It was like, oh, you got me. You got me. Take me in. Take me in. Just take me in. You know what I mean? It was like a real a surrender. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how is it that you have this big regime going on, where you have this big this big drug ring going on, and you were this easy to take down? You know what I mean? Like, what Scarface, like, drug dealer is going to just quietly go in and just say, "Hey, you got me." Like military ain't. I should say their military ain't trying to defend him, or he ain't had no security to combat with them, and like nothing. They just walked up in the house. Hey, time to go. What? You know what I mean? And like he just said, that wasn't the case with Noriega. That wasn't the case at all. It's like I said, what's really going on here? If it was just that easy to just capture Maduro.
One other point to consider. President Trump continues to say, look, I get in and I get out. He talks about el-Baghdadi killing him, Soleimani killing him, Iran with the nuclear strikes. Okay, that was in and out. This is not in and out. This was in and out over the weekend. But now we have a ... portion of this, and that's the wild card in all of this.
You mentioned Iran. I've got to ask, at some point in time, don't we have to recognize the theocracy is still in place? They're still killing their own citizens who are protesting their government. You make declarations that if you do this, you're going to regret it. Are we looking at boots on the ground there?
Potentially. I mean, with President Trump, it's not just peace through strength, it's peace through action. And that's what we've seen with this president. But I think as it relates to Iran, and others can speak better to this on George Thomas and others, but it's the besiege over there, those Iranian citizen patrols that are in all across that country, that if they start to turn on the regime there in Iran, that will be the final death knell and regime change for sure in Iran.
One last question on Delcy Rodriguez. What do you make of her saying this was a Zionist plot? That somehow or other Israel is behind the capture of Maduro?
Somehow they are. Whenever you see shit like this happening, it is because of look. Have I not came on here before and said that Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were Israeli agents, and that when Charlie Kirk shit happened, Candace Owens was just an Israeli agent that went rogue. And then all of a sudden, after she has this sit down with Charlie Kirk's wife, now she didn't shut the fuck up. now all of a sudden she didn't shut the fuck up, right? Oh, I thought you killed my friend. No, we still got him alive. We just made it look like we killed him to shut him the fuck up, the way we try to get you to shut the fuck up. And what happened? She shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we'll join the long chorus of people that blame Israel for everything under the sun. So it doesn't surprise me. And so that's something that the Trump administration isn't necessarily going to not only buy, but even waste some time on, based on the fact that not only is it baseless, but the fact that they've got a few other things on their plate to do.
Doesn't it really underline just how radical she is, and just she's bought into the Hezbollah ideology, the Iranian ideology? It just seems insane to me that a vice president of a South American country would make the allegation that this is a Zionist plot.
100%. And let's remember, that's why she first came out very strongly against what happened to Maduro. And then what happened within 24 to 36 hours later, she was talking about U.S. cooperation, because the U.S. is calling the shots. They will tell her what the next moves are. And by the way, speaking of next moves, let's remember, overnight on Air Force One, as President Trump was coming back from Florida, he talked about Colombia. They better watch out there in Colombia, and also Cuba as well. Not necessarily military force in Cuba, but Cuba, President Trump actually said that they are going to be down for the count very soon. Because in essence, as you know, Gordon, their economy is directly tied to Venezuelan oil.
All right. Well, David, thanks for the insights. It looks like it's going to be a very interesting year. Yeah. Well, in other news, Iran lost a key ally in Maduro. At the same time, it's facing
We have seen an unprecedented.
Okay. I wasn't muted again during that, was I? Okay. Just making sure I wasn't. But yeah. So now Venezuela, the military, all of a sudden now they're making videos and shit saying that, hey, we don't like the fact that you didn't capture our leader. Now all of a sudden the Venezuelan military is speaking up and saying, hey, We don't approve of that shit. It's like, now y'all want to speak up? Where was y'all at the night that he got took?
Deployment of forces against the Republic. It was premeditated. It was a form of military aggression which has resulted in the terrible consequences we see. We are greatly worried by the violence, the barbarity, the criminal action which has been brought against our sovereignty. Yesterday, the individual who represents the people of Venezuela as their president was abducted. President Nicolas Maduro Moros is the constitutional president, elected by the people for the term 2025 to 2031. President Nicolas Maduro is the genuine, authentic, constitutional leader of all Venezuelans. The free elections took place in this country in 2024. Direct universal suffrage resulted in a guaranteed, secure electoral process in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, as has been the case for the last 25 years. So, we here in the Bolivarian National Armed Forces demand the immediate release of the constitutional president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. We demand his release. He has been abducted along with the First Lady of the Republic, Dr. Silvia Flores de Maduro. These acts have been carried out not only against the legitimate president of Venezuela, but also against a Christian woman, a woman of principles, who was also abducted, taken away in handcuffs. A brave, courageous woman. We call on her release, along with that of the president of all Venezuelans. And we call on the world, we urge the world to turn their eyes to what is happening against Venezuela, against its sovereignty, and against its constitution. At the same time, we welcome the immediate response that we've heard from the governments and peoples of the world, from all corners of the world yesterday, from all legitimate governments, with some exceptions. We heard a clear condemnation of this violation of Venezuelan sovereignty. The world recognizes what is happening as a threat to the global order. The world needs to be on guard, because if it was Venezuela yesterday, it could be anywhere tomorrow. These colonialist ambitions, which are being imposed in our country, the spirit of the Monroe Doctrine applied here in Latin America and the Caribbean, is something we firmly reject. We advocate peace, political dialogue, understanding the respect of human rights and international law. That is our genuine desire. And the Bolivarian National Armed Forces has always been an institution that guarantees the democratic and constitutional continuity of the country. What would have happened if the previous institutions that had been in charge of the country continued to be here today. And what would have happened if we had allowed anarchy and chaos to prevail?
All right, so again, you hear what they're even talking about, right? As far as the colonism, the U.S. colonism that they're trying to say was going on. I've shown you guys Project Bluebeam, right? One of the main goals of Bluebeam, or should I say the actual goal of Bluebeam, is the one world monarchy. Global monarchy, global domination. You heard that in movies, you've heard that in cartoons, you've heard that every fucking where. Global domination, right? Like I said, the main goal of Project Bluebeam is to have a one world monarchy at the end of the day. It shouldn't be a coincidence to y'all that the last time y'all saw the UN come together, they were literally talking about this. They were literally talking about everybody coming together and us having just one leader instead of all of us coming together and being all the leaders at the one time. We need to have just one person. Literally heard the UN talk about this. Whether it be Trump or someone else, that is what this is heading towards. This is heading towards a one world monarchy. One government ruling everything. Now, there are some orders that, of course, are not with it and some that are with it. But there's a good 80, I would say right now, there's a good 75% to 80% that are with it behind the scenes. Order out of chaos is what you were seeing with the war. Or should I say the wars that are to come. That's what order out of chaos is pretty much. I knew it, conceptus. But then you have, for example, right? You have the citizens of Venezuela who feel very differently about what's going on.
As the helicopter carrying detained Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro touched down at a heliport on the west side of Manhattan, Joanna Martucci, a Venezuelan American who fled her native country over a decade ago, was brought to tears.
It's the best day of our lives. We were hoping for this moment to happen for a long time, and we're just hopeful.
It just feels so much relief and peace to finally see the guy that I left my country for be in there.
The feeling of joy and relief emanated through the streets in lower Manhattan. This rally unfolding in Chinatown Saturday afternoon, hours after the U.S. carried out the large-scale strike in Venezuela. From the streets to community hubs, there was no shortage of celebration. At El Budare Cafe in Jackson Heights, amid the smiles, there was cautious optimism.
Oh yeah, everybody's scared, but we have to celebrate now. Woo!
Marianela Moriera left Venezuela for New York 30 years ago, saying Saturday morning's airstrike and Maduro's capture is the only way out of the country's current state. She's already planning her return trip.
Maybe we have to wait 1 year, 2 years, I don't know for how long, but I hope soon.
They're not necessarily, they're not mad about him being arrested. They're more up. There's some people that are more up in arms than anything. These are people that are living within the city that are actually saying they're hip hop hooraying. But again, these are the same people that don't necessarily know exactly what is going on as far as, why he's even being detained or he's being arrested, I should say.
Estamos tratando de preguntarle a venezolanos cómo se sienten con toda esta situación del país.
No, gracias. Sin palabras.
¿Por qué cree que la gente no quiere hablar o quiere, como en su caso, pues que sea solo anónimamente?
El miedo.
Fear is always in the mind of Venezuelans, especially living under an authoritarian rule. ¿Y el miedo a quién?
Prefiero no hablar.
¿Cree que hay miedo o temor a expresarse libremente en el país?
Siempre lo ha habido.
Most recently, a state of emergency decree has allowed the police to search and capture those who support U.S. attacks. In Mérida, Venezuela, 2 men were arrested after allegedly celebrate the capture of Nicolás Maduro. Si me permite un segundo.
For those willing to speak on camera.
¿Cómo está, señor? They say they were skeptical about the U.S. intervention.
Por lo que no estoy de acuerdo en absoluto con esa intromisión extranjera en...
Aquí el factor no fue que se llevaron a Nicolás Maduro, aquí el factor es que ellos quieren nuestro petróleo gratis.
Nosotros somos colonia, pues, ¿entiendes? No queremos ser colonia.
Hay personas que pueden estar alegres, otras tristes, pero yo creo que lo que tenemos que estar es tranquilos, porque ya nosotros como ciudadanos no podemos hacer nada.
See what I mean? There's people that necessarily know what's going on, and there's people that don't give a fuck what's going on, but then there's also people that know what's going on and say, hey, you heard the guy, like, yeah, we're not a colony. We're not no fucking colony. You don't need to colonize us. We don't need all that shit. If you wanted to get rid of the drug dealer that was causing chaos in the streets, fine, do that shit. But you don't need to fucking come over here and organize and shit, sending ICE and all this other shit. You don't need to be doing all that. We don't need governing. You clearly hearing the people in the streets. We don't need governing. We just need to try to make it safer over here or whatever. But like I said before, that was never the intention in the beginning. This was never about making things safer for anybody. You know what I mean? Now we get into the meat and potatoes of things. Now that we done got that part out the way. Maduro's allies, like Kim Jong-un, have decided to fire missiles in our fucking direction all of a sudden. And the first thing I saw when I seen this part, I was like, all right, this is just Kim Jong-un, of course, establishing his dominance and putting his foot down, saying, hey, you ain't coming over here with that shit. you listen, you want to colonize and do that shit to other countries and whatnot, you do that. But as far as what I got going on over fucking here, him and Putin are on the same page. As far as what we got going on over here in our spots, you leave us the fuck alone. He pretty much put a shot in the air. Hey, cut that shit. Don't even look our way with that shit. You look all the other countries you want to, but don't start that shit over here.
Shockwaves are rippling across East Asia today as North Korea fires ballistic missiles just hours after the U.S. military captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. The launches mark Pyongyang's first missile test in 2 months, sending projectiles into the sea between the Koreas and Japan. The move comes as South Korea's president, Lee Jae-myung, begins a state visit to China, North Korea's closest ally. Experts say the missiles were a clear message to Beijing, signaling Pyongyang's objection to closer ties between China and South Korea. At the same time, analysts say the tests demonstrate North Korea's readiness to respond aggressively, contrasting its nuclear and military posture with Venezuela's current crisis. South Korea and Japan condemned the launches. Seoul convened an emergency security meeting, urging Pyongyang to halt provocative acts that violate United Nations Security Council resolutions.
North Korea launched at least 2 ballistic missiles toward the east from near its west coast between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock this morning. As for the details, Japan, the U.S., and South Korea are currently working closely together to analyze the situation. But we estimate that the missiles fell outside Japan's exclusive economic zone in the Sea of Japan. In addition, there is a possibility that both ballistic missiles flew on irregular trajectories, and we are continuing to analyze this. The first missile was launched at around 7:54 a.m., reached a maximum altitude of about 50 kilometers, and flew approximately 900 kilometers. The second missile was launched at around 8:05 a.m., reached a maximum altitude of about 50 kilometers, and flew approximately 950 kilometers. Regarding this launch, our country lodged a stern protest and strongly condemned North Korea through the embassy route in Beijing. Whatever their intentions may be, North Korea's nuclear and missile development threatens the peace and stability of our country and the international community, and is absolutely unacceptable. The Ministry of Defense will continue to make every effort to gather information, analyze and conduct surveillance and monitoring of North Korea's military activities, working closely with the United States and other partners.
The missiles, launched around 7:50 a.m. local time, flew approximately 900 to 950 kilometers. Meanwhile, North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, has ordered a doubling of tactical guided weapons production, following multiple factory visits and oversight of missile tests ahead of the 9th Party Congress, which will outline major policy goals for the regime. South Korea hopes Beijing will help promote peace on the peninsula as Lee Jae-myung prepares to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping during his state visit. Analysts say the unusually short interval between meetings signals China's interest in boosting economic collaboration, even as relations with Japan remain tense over Taiwan. With tensions rising from Pyongyang to Washington, the Korean peninsula remains on high alert as missile tests, nuclear ambitions, and global geopolitics collide. North Korea has carried out another high-profile weapons drill, test-firing 2 strategic long-range cruise missiles in what it described as a demonstration of nuclear combat preparedness amid rising regional tensions. According to the state-run Korean Central News Agency, KCNA, the launches were conducted on Sunday over the Yellow Sea, west of the Korean peninsula, under the direct supervision of leader Kim Jong-un. The exercise was aimed at assessing the combat capability and counter-offensive readiness of long-range missile units as Pyongyang continues to warn against what it views as escalating military pressure from the United States and South Korea. KCNA reported that the cruise missiles remained airborne for more than 2 hours before accurately striking their designated targets at sea. State media released footage showing the missiles being launched and impacting targets, underscoring what officials described as the reliability and effectiveness of the weapons system. Kim Jong-un expressed great satisfaction with the results of the drill and reiterated his commitment to the unlimited and sustained development of North Korea's nuclear combat forces, according to the report. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff, JCS, confirmed the launches, saying it detected multiple cruise missiles fired at around 8 a.m. local time from the Sunan area near Pyongyang. The South Korean military said it remains on heightened alert and is closely coordinating with the United States to monitor developments and respond to any potential provocations. Pyongyang framed the missile test as a defensive measure. KCNA said Kim emphasized that verifying the reliability of the country's nuclear deterrent was a legitimate exercise of its right to self-defense and war deterrence, particularly in response to what North Korea considers growing external security threats. The comments were reported by Agence France-Presse, AFP, which noted that North Korea often portrays such weapons tests as reactions to joint U.S.-South Korea military activities. The timing of the launch comes shortly after North Korea revealed progress on what it claims will be its first nuclear-powered submarine. Last week, KCNA published images of Kim inspecting a large submarine under construction in an indoor facility, accompanied by senior officials and his daughter, Kim Joo-ae. Pyongyang has suggested the vessel could eventually be equipped with nuclear-capable missiles, a development that would significantly expand its maritime strike capabilities. North Korea's state media on Thursday released images of what it described as an 8,700-ton nuclear-powered strategic guided missile submarine, marking the first time Pyongyang has publicly revealed the vessel's size and what appears to be a completed hull since announcing its nuclear submarine ambitions in 2021. According to the Korean Central News Agency, KCNA, leader Kim Jong-un said the submarine would strengthen the country's ability to respond to what he called an increasingly hostile security environment. Kim condemned South Korea's parallel submarine plans, labeling them an offensive act that North Korea must counter. Seoul, meanwhile, has moved swiftly after receiving approval from U.S. President Donald Trump in October to pursue nuclear-powered submarines. A government-wide task force was launched last week, and South Korea's National Security Advisor, Wi Sung-lak, said discussions are underway for an agreement that would allow Washington to supply nuclear fuel for military use. This move Kim Jong-un described as an offensive act that violates North Korea's security and maritime sovereignty, according to KCNA. The push aligns with broader U.S. efforts to encourage allies to take greater responsibility for their own defense. South Korea has long sought nuclear submarines as a deterrent against North Korea's expanding nuclear arsenal, which in recent years has extended to sea-based platforms, including submarine-launched missiles and a claimed nuclear-capable torpedo. The drill also takes place ahead of a ruling Workers' Party Congress expected early next year, the first in 5 years. Analysts say the meeting could signal new policy directions, including North Korea's stance toward the United States and the future of stalled nuclear negotiations. While United Nations Security Council resolutions ban North Korea from testing ballistic missiles, cruise missile tests are not explicitly prohibited. However, security analysts caution that such weapons still pose a serious threat due to their precision and low-altitude flight profiles, which make them harder to detect and intercept. The latest launch underscores Pyongyang's continued efforts to expand its military leverage as it weighs the possibility of renewed talks with Washington following the collapse of negotiations in 2019 during U.S. President Donald Trump's first term.
So, again, Kushness, what's going on, my brother? What's going on? God bless, God bless. So, again, Kim Jong-un ain't having that shit. Fired off his shot in the air saying, you stay over there with that shit. Of course, Trump is, again, pushing back saying, yo, we understand that's a threat over here. We'll handle that accordingly. Now, again, Putin, same thing. Now, the crazy thing with this is I might as well show the video because the thumbnail, I should say. Let me show you the thumbnail of what alarmed me with this next video here with Putin. Because I spoke about this before on the pod about them having the zombie ray gun. Right? Literally, that's what it said. Putin owns a zombie ray gun in his military. Now, you see here what it says, right? Russia revenge coming. Zombie oil tanker near UK. It's like zombie oil tanker. What the fuck y'all talking about? Zombie oil tanker. So, look at this here right here. And so I know I've already known about Putin having his share of shit that he has over there. Like, we could be scared of Kim Jong-un and how radical his movements is with him throwing shots off of the air all we want. When it comes to Putin, if Putin is to strike, Putin is going to shoot now and ask questions later. That right there alarmed me a little bit. Now, I don't necessarily get what, I don't know what they're getting. Be misguided with the information. Okay, so some of the times here. Zombie oil tanker among 10 Russian. Like I said, I don't think it's necessarily referring to actual zombies. Let me just make that clear as well. Zombie oil tanker among 10 Russian Shadow Fleet vessels in Channel. Tensions escalate after Britain helped the U.S. to seize another sanctions-busting tanker in the North Atlantic. A sanctioned zombie ship is among 10 Russian Shadow Fleet vessels that sailed through the Channel on Thursday, a day after British forces helped the United States to seize a similar tanker. The tankers crossed British and French waters as fears mounted that Moscow could retaliate against British-flagged vessels over the seizure of the Marinera, seizure of the Marinera tanker in the North Atlantic on Wednesday. British spy aircraft and Royal Navy support vessel helped the U.S. in its mission to capture the Marinera. Experts said the zombie tanker was so called because it was, I don't know why it says like that, it was so called because it was sailing under a false identity. That's why they call it a zombie tanker. Okay, it was sanctioned by the U.S. in 2024 over concerns it was involved in distributing illicit Russian oil and was sailing under a false name and Cameroonian flag flag as it entered the channel. So that's necessarily what the meaning behind it being a zombie tanker. Not necessarily meaning we got zombies in the fucking tanker. Just wanted to make that clear. Video. She says President Gustavo Petro and Trump held their first phone call on January 7th, de-escalating tensions after the POTUS threatened military action against Colombia. Again, this is pretty much them saying that they're planning to take over all these different countries. And when you have someone setting up a one world monarchy like this, again, you have to start paying attention to the places that he's actually taking over and why he's taking over these places. Now, we're going to get to Greenland here now, in which Trump says that they're going to be taking over Greenland soon as well. But there's an interesting factor to the whole Greenland takeover.
Policy question. How much money are you thinking of giving people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S. takeover?
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland. And we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor. Okay?
And when I heard that, I said, okay, there's something there that Trump wants, or should I say there's something there that this section of the elites wants that Russia, that he's not trying to give up to Russia and China, or should I say he's not trying to give up to Putin and Kim Jong. There's something there in Greenland, and we're going to get to what it is in a second.
I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. And I'm a man, and by the way, I'm a fan of Denmark too. I have to tell you, and they've been very nice to me. I'm a big fan, but the fact that they had a boat land there 500 years ago doesn't mean that they own the land. I'm sure we had lots of boats go there also, but we need that because if you take a look outside of Greenland right now, there are Russian destroyers, there are Chinese destroyers and bigger, there are Russian submarines all over the place. We're not going to have Russia or China occupy Greenland, and that's what they're going to do if we don't. So we're going to be doing something with Greenland, either the nice way or the more difficult way. Please, go ahead, ma'am.
Mr. President, why is it so important to you to own it when you have a military presence there, which you could expand to affect the security?
Because when we own it, we defend it. you don't defend leases the same way. You have to own it. And, with a nation, look at what happened with Obama, with that horrible deal they made with Iran. It was a short-term deal. It was like a 9-year deal. Countries can't make 9-year deals or even 100-year deals. Countries have to have ownership. And you defend ownership, you don't defend leases. And we'll have to defend Greenland. If we don't do it, China or Russia will. It's not going to happen. We are not going to have, and I like China, I like Russia, I love the people of China, I love the people of Russia. I get along very well with President Putin, but I'm very disappointed in him. I get along very well with President Xi. I'm going to go over to China in April, but I don't want them as a neighbor in Greenland. Not going to happen. And by the way, and NATO's got to understand that. I'm all for NATO. I saved NATO. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have a NATO right now. But we're not going to allow Russia or China to occupy Greenland, and that's what's going to happen if we don't.
So you heard from the horse's mouth there. They pretty much do not want Putin, really Putin, I would say, not even Kim Jong or China. They just don't want anyone else to get their hands on whatever is over there in Greenland. Now, some of you are probably saying, well, what the fuck is so important about Greenland right now? I mean, before we get into that, is what the Greenland residents are saying about, Trump even talking about threatening of taking over the land.
We should prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Crazy how it's called Nuke Greenland.
We're not a business. We're a people. We're a people with our own country and culture, language. We are not a product. So I think people should really think about that. I know Donald Trump is a businessman, but Greenland is not a product. We're a people, and that should be taken very seriously, and that should be respected.
We should be the people that is in focus here. And when the Greenlandic people have shown time and again that we want independence, we should explore the possibilities for independence in our current situation.
Well, I would say I'm worried. It's been talking about that. What are we going to do if something happens? Should I need to go to Denmark to the children? Should I stay here? Stuff like that. So it's getting very practical thoughts about what's going to happen if something worse happens.
Now, one person that isn't necessarily, or should I say, is cautious about it, but how he's going about it is a little bit of an eerie thing to me. Uri Geller. Now, Uri Geller, I want to say a few years ago, it was about 10, 15 years ago when he bought the island, Lamb Island. What year did Uri Geller buy that island? Look up something real quick. I can't remember what year he bought the island. What year did he buy the damn island? 2009. He bought the Lamb Island in Greenland near North Berwick, Scotland in 2009 for €30,000. I'll put it up right here so you can see for yourself what it says. Literally says, believing it held ancient Egyptian treasure and a mystical energy, later declaring it a micronation with its own anthem and football team. He offered citizenship for $1 and with proceeds to charity, and recently proposed it as a military base for the U.S. He had been campaigning for it to become its own country.
This might be a question that most of us will never have to answer, but what would you do if you had your own island? Well, Uri Geller, who likes to be known as a mystifier, has decided to turn Lamb Island, the small Scottish isle he bought about 13 years ago, into a country. He has a flag for it, there's a constitution, and even a national anthem. And the so-called micronation is now offering citizenship. I caught up with him earlier and started by asking him, well, to take us back to the beginning, really, and how on earth you get hold of an island in the first place.
Oh, this is such an amazing story, full with synchronicities. I heard that there was an island for sale. I was in Japan. I read the Times. wow, I said, I want to be a bit of a James Bond, so I want to buy the island. Then I get a call from Mohammed Al-Fayed, the owner of Harrods, if you remember, and he tells me, Uri, there's a book called the Scotty Chronicon, and in it, the book was written 500 years ago by an abbot, Walter, and in it, the tale is that Queen Scotta, who was the wife of one of the pharaohs in Egypt, and we're talking about thousands of years ago, sailed to North Europe, moored outside Lamb Island, and actually Egyptian treasure was buried on the island.
You heard that? See how this even goes all the way back to the pyramids of Egypt? And there's supposed to be some... I'll let him finish. Let me get to it.
Wow, this was unbelievable. So I felt a strong instinctive urge that I have to investigate. So, Dan, the more I delved into the history and the archaeological lore, which basically surrounds the island, the more certain I became that this is one of the most significant sites in Britain. And I bought it and I have it. And now, just a few days ago, I turned it into a country.
That's the other important question, Yuri. How do you turn an island into a country? What do you do?
Well, first of all, I have an anthem. Next is a flag. So there is a flag now, and it's on the island. By the way, it's not easy to climb on the island. It's a bird sanctuary. The Seabird Center is very nearby. Puffins, I believe I became the automatic owner of 150,000 seagulls and puffins. So they nest there. You can't live on this island. But what I did, I'm now giving citizenship. I was actually amazed and thrilled. Stephen Fry, he became a citizen. Peter Andre became a citizen. They all have the certificates. I'm waiting now one from Brad Pitt, from Tom Cruise. I already have about 1,000 citizens. So all you have to do is go to urigeller.com, pay $1. $1 certificate comes out with your name, and the money, this is the most important, the money goes to an Israeli charity called Save a Child's Heart. They have already saved 6,000 children from all around the world with open heart surgery. Half of them, by the way, are Palestinians.
It's an amazing story, Uri. I know that you're well known for spoons throughout your life. Explain to us what's going on behind you with the spoony car.
Oh, wow. I wish I could move I'm in my museum. This car...
Fuck the car. You literally heard what he was talking about there with there being Egyptian treasures there. So, one of the biggest things that you have to also pay attention to is what he was talking. This is also in Scotland. This is also in Scotland. So the first things I'm thinking about, okay, Scottish Freemasonry. That went off. That bell went off in my head. Scottish Freemasonry. I'm like, okay, there are a few different incentive reasons why Trump would take over this island. But just to take a look at this drone footage of Lamb Island real quick. Just so you know, it's not some deserted. It's not some deserted island with nobody on it. Not a bad looking place. Not a bad looking place. Again, not some deserted place there. Nike Techs was losing the quarter zips. Now they back up. Yeah, Nike Techs pretty much have gotten more fashionable since Maduro have gotten captured, so to speak. Crazy how that works. Crazy how the mind works. Crazy how the mind works. But other thing to note, the owner of this island, Uri Geller, like I said, believes this thing has supernatural powers. This island here. I'm going to go to his Instagram real quick. I'm going to show you guys some on this guy's Instagram. And while, like I said, this is where, like I said, my antenna started to go up. Because shout out to the individual that sent me the first video on this guy. I have a feeling you're probably listening. So where is it at? Where's the original video I got? This one.
Friends, that's my island, Lamb Island, and that's not AI, that's a real rainbow. Lamb Island is blessed by supernatural powers. 18 years ago when I bought the island, I knew why I'm buying Lamb Island. I still know it today. America needs Greenland. There's something in Greenland. If I would tell you right now what is in Greenland, you will freak out. It'll blow your mind. Not only America needs Greenland, but the whole world. And only Donald Trump and a few people know what it is. I know. That's why I'm offering my Lamb Island to Donald Trump. Leave your comments. I'm very curious what you'll say. You can attack me too. I don't care. There's something in Greenland to do with Lamb Island. It's a wow. I love you all.
Now, when I heard that mixed with him saying his supernatural powers, this, that, and the third, I said, okay, the fuck is he talking about? Then I saw this picture on his Instagram. No explanation of what it was. Just my dear friend sending you tons of good energy, fantastic vibrations with a new year. Be positive, be optimistic, stay hopeful. Aliens, Happy New Year, Donald Trump. That's the caption. I didn't see there's a documentary here, Age of Discovery. I need to look that up. Let's see what that is. But then I'm like, what the fuck? Why you got videos like this on your channel? Or should I say, why you got then this one? Now you see what it says here. This is from 11 weeks ago. Okay, so we're talking about maybe November, I want to say. My dear friends, something astronomical is coming and I am in touch. What is your opinion about the incoming 3-Eye Atlas? Remember the talking about the UFO that was pretty much seen that's coming in? The big Independence Day ship? In this picture. But look what it says. This is, of course, AI, but these are the type of alien bodies I have seen together with Dr. Werner von Braun in a refrigerated room in the basement of a concrete building at the Goddard Space Flight Center 50 years ago. I am eagerly waiting for Trump to open up the secrecy around the aliens and show the bodies, some injured, to the world.
Hi, my dear friends. I'm overwhelmed.
Not this one.
My dear friends, today is the 19th of December, and the aliens behind me, they're coming for one reason. maybe more reasons, but one reason is an important reason, to wish me a happy birthday. I'm only kidding you, but yeah, it is my birthday tomorrow, 20th of December, and I'm going to get a gift from them. But please, please, seriously now, read my message. It's very important. And look at the bottom of this screen. Cosmic, happy birthday. Love you all. Positive energy from me.
Again, why is he all of a sudden, not even all of a sudden, why is he making reels with Trump looking at aliens? Why is he saying there's supernatural powers with the island that he owns? Then him talking about the Egyptian treasure. So I started digging a little bit, and I came across a couple of videos from over the course of a year or so, where he was telling Trump not to go to Egypt, Iran, so on and so forth.
Hi, this message is for you, Donald Trump. Wow, it's amazing that you're coming to Israel. Incredible that you're going to give a mind-blowing speech in the Knesset. But from there, you might be flying to Sharm el-Sheikh. Please read my message. I'm just very concerned. Very concerned. Please read the entire message. I say don't go there. Don't go to Sharm el-Sheikh. But if you do, make sure that you're protected, super protected, all around you. Don't let anyone close to you. And be careful.
Now notice what's in the corner of the screen here. Notice what's in the corner of the screen, him doing pretty much, him showing something from another video or documentary in regards to alien information once again, right? Then there was this video.
Mr. Uri Geller. Uri, good evening to you, sir.
Hi, good evening to both of you.
Yes.
What I'd like you to do is not interrupt me when I tell you what I have to say. Go ahead and ask me the question.
What do you got to say? Well, listen, I can't promise that, Uri, because my brain doesn't work that way. And if I think of something I want to ask you, I may well have to. What I want to talk to you about, though, is what you have behind you. I've just been talking to Donald.
Hold on. Matter of fact, let me just real quick, because I didn't see it. I didn't realize that the video was down. I'll play it one more time.
Hi, this message is for you, Donald Trump. Wow, it's amazing that you're coming to Israel.
Let me run it back real quick. So this gentleman here on the bottom right, is exactly what he was talking about. Where's that video? Where's that video? This one here. Dr. Werner von Braun. Now, I think I've spoke about von Braun before when it came to Project Bluebeam. Right? So this gentleman down here in the bottom and right here in the corner, notice how he has that right up underneath Trump. This is the video, of course, you just heard about him telling him, hey, you might want to skip over Egypt. Don't go to Egypt.
Hi, this message is for you, Donald Trump. Wow, it's amazing that you're coming to Israel. Incredible that you're going to give a mind-blowing speech in the Knesset. But from there, you might be flying to Sharm el-Sheikh. Please read my message. I'm just very concerned. Very concerned. Please read the entire message. I say don't go there. Don't go to Sharm el-Sheikh. But if you do, make sure that you're protected, super protected, all around you. Don't let anyone close to you. And be careful. Be very careful, especially in Sharm el-Sheikh.
Hold on real quick. Actually, that might not be. Might be. I think that's Serge Monost. I think that's a young version of Serge Monost down here, not Von Bronner. I think this is a version of a younger version of Serge Monost with Project Bluebeam. Before the beard. But let me show you guys who Dr. Von Bronner is. And why it was important that he even mentioned his name and him seeing the aliens in the basement 50 years ago. Look at it. Look who he's with. Ironically, look at this title here, The Hunt for Nazi Scientists. In which, if you guys remember, Trump has always been called, what? A modern-day Nazi. Look at this picture here of who Von Bronner is also famous to be known with. Look what car he's in. John F. Kennedy tours NASA's Launch Operations Center with Werner von Braun. And I'm like, is it a coincidence that this same guy, Uri Geller, says that he went and saw alien bodies with von Braun in a refrigerator room in the basement of a concrete building 50 years ago? So we're talking about the 70s. Now, let me get to the next video here. Like I said, real interesting how this guy has these connections to people that have already witnessed and seen aliens, on top of him saying the island that he owns is connected to the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, has ancient magic, and supposedly has some mystical treasure in it.
Mr. Uri Geller. Uri, good evening to you, sir.
Hi, good evening to both of you.
Yes.
What I'd like you to do is not interrupt me when I tell you what I have to say. Go ahead and ask me the question.
What do you got to say?
Well, listen, I can't promise that, Uri, because my brain doesn't work that way. And if I think of something I want to ask you, I may well have to. What I want to talk to you about, though, is what you have behind you. I've just been talking to Donald Trump's religious advisor, Pastor Mark Burns. Yes. And he,
you see what it say on the screen?
You
see what it say on the screen? My warning to Trump.
He is well versed on what must be done to save the world. You've written an open letter to Donald Trump, warning him. Hang on, let me just do the question. Warning him that if he doesn't control Iran, it could be really tragic for the whole of this planet. But you've also said that it has to be done now because everybody knows that you see into the future, and you have had premonitions about this.
This was 9 months. This was 9 months ago. He did this.
Which are not particularly good, are they?
Yes, let me now
go on.
Tell all of you what I won't go into the entire letter, but this is what I told Donald Trump. First of all, I told him that he's a peacemaker and that he is a revolutionary. But this is what I told him. This is the important part, that my psychic abilities give me visions. And I have seen the terrible consequences of doing a deal with Iran. It will not stop them getting a bomb. On the contrary, James, they will use a Trump nuclear agreement as cover while clandestinely building nuclear weapons. Do not go down in history, I told Trump, as the American president who enabled them. Negotiations are not a path to peace, but the road to ruin. It is my duty to warn you. This is what I told him again and again, and I must do so openly for the whole world to know. In one vision, this is what I saw. In one vision, I saw mushroom clouds reaching the sky, vast walls of fire, American bases disintegrated, and U.S. cities ablaze. Iran strikes out at you, America, and retaliation brings destruction.
This was literally in Nostradamus' predictions ages ago. Was that when we fucked with Iran and made a deal with Iran, that's when World War III officially started and all types of chaos happened. That was literally in one of Nostradamus' predictions, is us against Iran. For this gentleman, Uri Geller, to have the same premonition, and if you look at, like I said, this is 9 months ago he was talking about this guy, right? Look at where we are now, where Trump is starting to colonize all of these different places and take over these different places and do these different deals with these countries. And you're hearing the same exact conversation about him trying to take over Iran, Greenland, all these other places. This is exactly what Uri Geller was trying to warn him of.
Not only to the Middle East, but all the way to Los Angeles and Japan. Millions are killed. Wait, let me finish. Millions are killed outright. Millions more die from the fallout. In the other vision...
Let me just also say, y'all know me already. I don't like to talk about the surface level of shit. I will never talk about just the surface level of shit. So we just right now, at the top of the basement door, about to head down. Just letting you know.
However, I see the United States and Israeli bombers destroying Iran's nuclear factories. Not the people of Iran. The people of Iran can't stand this regime. I want to see America and Israel giving a crushing blow to already a weak regime. Now, nobody, James, in the Middle East wants Iran to have nuclear weapons. I mean, look at what they sent to Israel. Thousands of missiles. One morning, an Iranian general will wake up, he will hear voices in his head, and he will press the red button. There's no way, look behind me, you asked me behind me. If by, God forbid, I hope it doesn't happen, but if a paper agreement will be signed, hey, look at how many nuclear plants they have.
What you're saying is that unless America bombs Iran, and the outcome of them bombing Iran could be total tragedy for the rest of the world, if only because of the pollution, let alone everything else. I mean, you're standing at the moment in Tel Aviv, aren't you?
No, you said it wrong.
He's in
Jaffa. We have to bomb their nuclear plants. Otherwise, they will send a nuclear bomb. Now, let me explain you why it's dangerous to sign a paper agreement. Because they will lie. Do you really think...
But, you know, surely people in the positions of the governments of America will know all this.
Netanyahu as well.
They will, you know, once somebody starts bombing, then everybody is going to be sucked in, and the vacuum...
There's a chain reaction.
...could encourage the end of this planet, Uri. Do you not worry about that?
Not if we stop Iran's nuclear bases. Iraq, Nastan, Isfahan, they all have tunnels. Hundreds, if not thousands of tunnels.
Yeah, but if you that...
They will hide the fact that they're still creating a bomb while this is signed on paper. Paper means nothing.
But that means we can
nuclear weapons.
We can never ever sort a conflict out unless we do it by power rather than negotiation.
With Iran, he's right.
No. In this case, no negotiations. Look,
he's right.
Look what Donald Trump just said today. Donald Trump issues grim World War III nuclear warning, which would be a war like no other. We don't want that.
No, we don't.
This is why. So this is why we've got to destroy Iran's nuclear capability.
But Netanyahu was saying that years ago, and now he's very tight with Trump. Surely they're on the case with Israel Mossad looking at it all and the IAF.
Let me just put this thought out there. You know,
he's trying to warn Trump of making the deal with Iran. He's trying to warn him not to give them the power to nuke us, is what he's trying to do.
You're biased, so we won't listen to you. Yeah, you're biased.
That's just
the
factual.
fact is, when the first bomb falls in the Middle East like that, then organizations like Hamas and others will get more support. Every flipping weekend, we have to put up with anti-Semitic marchers who are basically kids who don't know what they're doing, walking up and down the cities of this nation. And you have the same, well, you don't because you're in the Middle East now, but they have the same thing going on in America. And what worries me is, to use an old-fashioned expression, violence begates violence. And
it's the people of Iran that need to overthrow the government.
But James, what are you telling me here? What are you telling all your listeners? That, okay, sign a paper, some kind of an agreement with Iran, but while the paper is signed, they're still creating a bomb, and they will throw the first nuclear bomb.
But what if
that's it?
Yeah, but, you know, the way you're going on at the moment is that people are going to stop listening to you, and I don't want that, Uri, because every day you send me a message, every day you send me some positive thought to help me fight my cancer, and I'm prepared to take anything, and you make me feel better. But if you carry on doing this, then the media that don't agree will turn against you and will...
Sorry, let me stop you.
Okay.
Fuck the media. They're all lefties.
Right, thanks, Uri. No, I'm sorry.
Sorry. So,
all right. Just don't use that word again.
Okay, sorry. I don't care about the media. I care about our planet, that it will survive, but it will not survive if Iran throws a nuclear bomb.
I agree. If Iran, I am hopeful that the technology exists at the moment, mate, that if a bomb was launched by Iran, America, Israel, a number of other countries that are keeping an eye on world peace would be able to stop it before it did any damage.
Well, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, the only way to stop a nuclear bomb exploding is not the people of Iran. They're good people. They're ordinary folk out there. They love peace. They want peace. They want a better world. But the Ayatollahs, with all these nuclear bases, they will create a nuclear bomb sooner or later, probably sooner, and then one will go up, explode. That's the end of our planet Earth.
But Netanyahu said he'd help the Iranian people overthrow the government. Why isn't that moving forward?
No comment. I don't know. I'm not a government official, but what I hope that will happen is to neutralize their capability of creating a nuclear bomb. And they're already saying that they already have the material, not for one bomb, for a few bombs. That's a story. You've got to stop them.
One last question I want to ask you, then I have to go to a break. Why, I've known you many years, over 30 years I've known you. Why have you gone to Israel? I know Israel is your home, and I know you're Israeli. I know you fought in the Six-Day War. I've known you ever since, you first became famous. But why, you could be living over here.
Like I said, this guy, and it's not a coincidence that you have so many people not only leaving the U.S. but you've seen these different celebrities also checking up and checking in and going by London, but them going in certain places of the elites and then having these secret meetings and then leaving out. And then the next thing you know, these same celebrities have now established residence in other countries other than the U.S. It's not a coincidence that you're seeing all these celebrities, or should I say influencers, also dying that are even hip to these type of things, that are traveling and knowledgeable of these type of things, right? A lot of these influencers that are coming up dead, moving around and leaving the country. It's not even them just speaking up on Israeli. That's another thing too. You got a lot of people and personalities. If you were to speak on anything of Israel, anything ilk of Israel, you probably either wind up dead or your content gets shut down. Different things like that, right? So you don't necessarily hear me saying anything of ilk with Israel because I'm very aware of that already.
Homeland, James. I was born here. I'm a Sabra. There was an urge in me, a burning desire. Call it psychic, call it supernatural, call it a calling for Uri Geller to go back to his homeland. And here I am, and we're very happy. I'm speaking to you from my museum. It's every day I do the tours myself. We donate a big part to Save a Child's Heart. And by the way, that's a great charity. We actually
New Eyes, what's going on with you?
saved, listen, over 3,000 children who were Palestinian children with open heart surgery. So I'm a man of peace, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned that Iran will unleash a nuclear bomb. Once that explodes, forget it. The Earth is finished.
Uri, thank you very much indeed, my friend. Sorry if I interrupted you too much, and sorry to any of...
It wasn't even, he ain't sorry about that. He pretty much is cutting him off because he's starting to, again, tell the truth. Notice how the media will always do that shit when you're about to tell the truth about something. They quickly try to quiet you. But Uri Geller, like he just said, is letting Trump know it. Like I said, this is from 9 months ago he made this video. And then you look at where we are today of Trump starting to take over these different countries and whatnot. Then you look at where he's already started to do dealings with Iran. We've watched the video of how pretty much we've always funded Iran. He's trying to tell us, hey, you need to start getting a hold of that shit. You need to start at least, getting some type of authority over Iran instead of letting them just run wild the way they have been. That's what he's trying to get Trump to do, but I don't think that's necessarily even in the cards with, like he just said, he was trying to avoid Trump making the deal with Iran, but the deal has already been done. The damage has already been done. And like I said, we're seeing the results of that right now. And I just want to play one last video here from Geller.
And if you just tuned in, welcome on board. I'm Nana Akwe. This is
Listen
GB
to this.
News. It's time now for Worldview. Let's cross over live to Tel Aviv, where joining me, Mr. Fire and performer Uri Geller. Uri Geller, welcome. Uri, what's on your mind?
Okay, look, Nana, and all your viewers. Now, I can't believe that the biggest story in town right now, from a political point of view, is not the Middle East, but Greenland. Even I did not see that coming. Donald Trump wants to take over Greenland. It might sound crazy, but there is a very serious point behind all this. And I'm going to tell you how I can help solve this crisis. First, let me tell you why this matters to all your... Now look at your TV screens, and if you've got a laptop, look at that too. Even your electric car, if you have one outside, look at that too. Why am I telling you this? Because all the technology you own is powered by rare earth minerals. Now, China already controls most of these minerals, and there are many more deposits in the Arctic region, especially in Greenland. If China gets its hands on them, then it will have complete dominance. Not only that, but Russia, China's ally, is massively boosting its presence there and has already deployed a fleet of nuclear-armed submarines. Look at this map. Look. By the way, you have to understand that we mean what we mean by the Arctic region. We're not talking about the North Pole. We're talking about places like Greenland, Norway, Sweden, even Canada. But believe it or not, China has already declared itself an Arctic state. That is a fact. Now, Donald Trump's plan does not seem so crazy after all. The Arctic threat from Russia and China affects all of us, and he wants to stop it. So here is my plan. As you know, I own an island of Scotland. It's called Land. I'm offering Donald Trump the right to use my island as a U.S. military base. I own, by the way, 12 kilometers of the waters around it and the seabed too. And believe it or not, the airspace above. And that's legal. Donald can send the U.S. Navy there. It is less than 2,000 miles from Greenland. Donald, this is a serious offer. You know, an F-16 could get from my island, from the aircraft carriers to Greenland in less than an hour. Let me finish by saying, I love the people of Greenland. I wish them peace. Everyone, all around the world, peace. And Nana, as usual, I send you all love from Israel, the Holy Land.
Now, people are thinking this guy is just some crazy kook with an island, right? Like I said before, it's not a coincidence that this guy is also talking about this island having ancient powers and tied to ancient Egypt. Now, let me just show y'all something here, right? So I started digging. Once I heard him talk about the ancient powers, I said, okay, something else is here. So it's also known as the Firth of Forth Islands. There are many islands there, but this is number 9, right? Lamb, named after the common Norse word for small island. Lamb is just 100 meters long and 50 meters wide. The illusionist Uri Geller bought the island in 2009 as he believed Lamb with Craigleith and Fidara mirror the layout of, get this, mirror the layout of the pyramids of Giza and are the key to an ancient Egyptian mystery. So I said, okay, what are the odds I put in this? So I Googled. You Google the Firth or Forth area in Scotland, a historic region known for its deep connection to what? Scottish Freemasonry. Features numerous lodges operating under the Grand Lodge of Scotland, emphasizing traditions rooted in stonemasonry, chivalry, and spiritual enlightenment, with significant landmarks like the Roslin Chapel, often associated with the Masonic lore, highlighting the Scottish Rite's importance in degrees beyond the basic 3, which is the apprenticeship, fellowcraft, and of course, 33rd degree Master Mason. Now, again, I don't believe in fucking coincidences. So once I noticed that this had something to do with them again, I said, now we getting somewhere. Now we get somewhere. Now, this is, of course, with a Scottish Freemasonry. You see what this says there, Roslin Chapel. Not clear exactly when Freemasonry began, but it's widely accepted. Okay, we don't necessarily go down that particular part here. Where's this symbol right here stuck out to me. The connection between Roslin Chapel and Freemasonry. Roslin Chapel was built by the operative stonemasons, but has nothing to do with the modern day Freemasonry. In terms of any explicit symbolism, Roslin would have been a hive of activity during the period of construction with many craft guilds on site. There are many symbols in the chapel, particularly the mason's marks. Each stonemason had his own symbol, and this was used to mark his work to ensure that he was properly paid for his labor, which should be the mark up here you see on the right. Some Freemasons today see Masonic symbols in the carvings of Roslin Chapel. In particular, some believe that some of the angels are carved in poses that are used in Masonic rituals. Since the chapel predates the establishment of the Masonic lodges in Scotland, this is seen as proof that Freemasonry is much older. The only problem with this is that the particular angels which are seen as Masonic are from the 19th century. and probably commissioned by the 4th Earl of Roslin himself a Mason. So I said, okay, this does have something to do with Freemasonry. This does have something to do with the pyramids of Giza. You look at the pyramids of Giza, and there's always talks about Freemasons supposedly building the pyramids of Giza. Freemasonry uses the pyramids of Giza symbolically, particularly the Great Pyramid, as a powerful emblem of ancient wisdom, perfection, and spiritual building, linking speculative masonry to operative builders. Though Masons didn't build them, the connection stems from the pyramid's geometric perfection. It's used in Masonic symbolism like the Eye of Providence. You see the Eye of Horus sometimes. Also, often atop the unfinished pyramid in the Great Seal of the U.S. A lot of people seem to think that the Freemasons also built the pyramids. Now, this comes from the Grand Lodge of British Columbia and Yukon. This is, again, another Freemason site. The connection with Freemasonry in regards to building the Great Pyramid. As the 18th century drew to a close, the imminent explosion of Egyptological studies was gathering momentum. One last curious episode in this story should be noted before moving on. However, and that is the rise of Freemasonry as political and cultural force. Although the story is clouded by cranks and obsessives, a few details are beyond dispute. Whatever is precise origins, Freemasonry undeniably played an extremely significant role in the 18th century scientific, political, and cultural advances, which we now call the Enlightenment, and in the social nationalistic upheavals, which are a major dimension of that Enlightenment. So they're trying to, again, allude to the fact that there is a big possibility that they have built the Great Pyramid. Okay, most of the major figures of the Enlightenment were either Masons or influenced by Freemasonry, hence the stonemasons, if you think about it, right? And the Masons were all, I don't want to pronounce this right, Egyptophiles. In some cases, claiming that they drew their traditions from secret Egyptian texts, in other cases actually asserting an unbroken lineage back to Egyptian priesthoods. The Masons saw their lodges as Egyptian temples and decorated them with all manner of Egyptian symbols. So like I said, I just want you to keep in your minds about what he just said about this thing having to do with, or should say, having correlation to early ancient Egypt, having early Egyptian treasury and mystical Egyptian powers. He said that specifically about that island. He said it specifically about the island. Let me just close some of this stuff here. And I don't want to go too far off the hinge. But one of the things I thought about, you know how they hide things in plain sight in the movies? Does anybody remember Godzilla Kong, the New Empire? Again, hiding things in plain sight, and even the title of the movie, The New Empire. And I'm even thinking about the brand new one that's come out with the trailer early 2 years in advance called Supernova, and in which it literally shows about a global takeover of something coming alien-like to the world. Now, in this particular movie, in Godzilla Kong, The New Empire, they went where? To the pyramids in Egypt. Now, also part of this movie was Godzilla, get this, was Godzilla going underground in the pyramids to literally harness some type of ancient magic and power, into which his entire form changed and he had this fuchsia-like glow to him, to where he even became double his size. Now, if you also think about the lore of even Godzilla Kong, right? Just little things like the giant reptilian. Okay, Godzilla is the giant reptile, right? Then you think about the actual plot of Godzilla Kong in the past two movies, and I'm talking about the underworld, right? And it's almost like in Stranger Things with the upside down underneath in Hollow Earth. We saw Hollow Earth literally in the dark. Was it the Dark Moon documentary we saw? No, the movie we saw, Dark Moon, and then we saw the documentary about the Dark Moon and how reptilians were supposedly harvesting human souls from the moon. It's all coming to light now. And this is, again, part of what we saw with the documentary Project Bluebeam, to where they're actually going to start showing us different things from ancient times and putting their own twist on it. Or should I say, not even their own twist on it, just giving us their enlightenment that they've received on it. This goes back to the early ancient times of civilization and when man was first made. Like I said, when we saw the story of Enki and Enlil, the original Anunnaki that originally made us, we literally saw someone that they kept saying, oh, this is Donald Trump, this is the Hitler, this is him throughout time. You know how they had different people change. It's the same person or same reptilian or same leader, but this went under a different name because we're, not to get too far-fetched off things, or should I say not to get too far off topic, we see things in layers in the universe. So there's a certain dimension or layer that we still are not conscious enough to see, which again relates to, Hollow World, which relates to us not being able to see the reptilians. Remember I was showing you about the, was it They Know? I think it was the name of the movie with Roddy. You know what I'm talking about, the movie with Roddy Piper. And he was able to see certain things on a different layer behind his shades. That's pretty much what I'm getting at right now. Because we're not able to see those certain things and on different layers, of course, right? We can't, of course, see the actual reptilians behind the scenes that are actually in control of us. So I said, okay, this is nothing to do with, this is zero to do with him going over there to just colonize and take over the region. This has nothing to do with oil taking over and money. This is something else that is bigger than us. Okay. And then you have to also think about how this just happened today. The Doomsday plane landed in LA. And everybody said when the Doomsday plane was to take off, that is a sign of something huge happening. What is the Doomsday plane? This is from the Hindustan Times. What is a Doomsday plane and why did it land in LA today? Viral video fuels global tension and speculation. The presidential aircraft dubbed the Doomsday plane was recently spotted in the Los Angeles airport, sparking a flurry of reactions on social media. This is, like I said, today that this happened. The Doomsday plane, a presidential aircraft, was spotted recently at the Los Angeles airport, sparking a flurry of reactions online. The sighting came at a time of tension after U.S. forces captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife in the home country and flew them to the U.S. The Boeing E-4 Advanced Airborne Command was filmed landing in L.A. on Thursday, as per TMZ. So this is the plane President Donald Trump would travel in amid a nuclear war, which is why the sighting has fueled speculations. So again, they're saying, yo, the Doomsday plane just landed here. What the fuck is yes, They Live. That was the name of the movie I was trying to think of. They Live. What is the Doomsday plane even doing here? Was believed to be the first appearance in its 51-year flying history. The Boeing 747-E-4B Night Watch, also known as a Doomsday plane, showed up in LAX Thursday. Airlines, there's a broad, let me see. This is from Twitter here. I was going to just play the regular video that I had. This is here on Twitter.
Look at this. Wow, look at this.
Just looking at even the comments. Cool. What does that mean? What is this plane even used for? We are still in a time where there's more people that don't give a fuck about this than there are people that do give a fuck about it. Unfortunately. Like I said before, there's still people that have no clue what augmented reality even is. So if something was to really happen, the only thing majority of us are going to do is pull out our fucking phones and try to document it, even if there's a whole giant nuke missile coming at us. People are saying again, why is this big motherfucker now landing in LA? Now, here's the other thing, right? Again, shout out to the person that sent me this too, because I wasn't privy to this. Pentagon pizza report surge and increased military activity. What's going on in D.C. now? In the past, dating all the way back, I think World War One. In the past, whenever there is a spiking of pizza near the Pentagon, that it's imminent of war happening or some type of nuclear war about to happen. The Pentagon Pizza Report noted unusual late-night activity at Pizzato Pizza coinciding with the U.S. military actions in Venezuela. Now, of course, some of you going to jump to, oh, talk about you been trafficking kids. No, that's not what this one is about. That's not what this, excuse me, I didn't mean to hit the microphone. That's not what this particular one is about. Posts shared by the Pentagon Pizza Report on January 3rd have drawn attention, prompting discussion. Remember, this is 7 days before the Doomsday plane hit, right? Prompting discussion about unusual late-night activity near the Pentagon and its coincidence with reports of U.S. military action. The account, which operates on Twitter, tracks foot traffic and online activity at foot outlets located close to major U.S. government and intelligence facilities. What the Pentagon Pizza Report flagged in a post made in the early hours of January 3rd, the account reported a sudden surge in activity at Pizzato Pizza, a late-night pizzeria near the Pentagon. Pizzato Pizza, a late-night pizzeria nearby the Pentagon, has suddenly surged in traffic as of 2 o'clock in the morning. Why is a fucking pizzeria having traffic at 2 o'clock in the morning? Nigga, Domino's closed at almost 1. So what is going on here? Okay? But look. Busier than usual. There's usually no wait. Look at how it spiked at 3 a.m. At 3 a.m., the witching hour, it literally spiked up at its highest of all times. January 3rd, this is the third day of 2026, and at 3 a.m., the witching hour. Again, notice that at number 3. And you can look at 204, 2 plus 4 is 6. Hey. Like I said, I don't believe in coincidences. Overlap with Venezuela developments. While no official explanation was offered for the spike, its timing overlapped with reports of U.S. military strikes in Venezuela and the capture of President Nicolas Maduro. The coincidence quickly fueled online speculation. Even as no direct link was established, social media users responded with a mix of jokes and curiosity. When the post first appeared, one user wrote, "World War III sponsored by marinara sauce," while another asked, "Is this the new indicator?" Others pointed to the odd overlap between pizza traffic data and breaking military headlines. And Google Maps shows a pizza place suddenly busier than usual at 2 a.m. while headlines talk about airstrikes in Venezuela. One post read, Similar spikes in pizza orders near the Pentagon have been flagged in the past. Reports have been previously linked unusual late-night activity at food outlets in the area, with major developments including escalations involving, you guessed it, Iran. What is the Pentagon Pizza Index? The Pentagon Pizza Index is a viral theory suggesting that spikes in late-night pizza orders near U.S. defense or intelligence hubs may signal heightened activity during international crisis. The idea dates back to the Cold War, when sudden increases in pizza deliveries in Washington were reportedly monitored as possible indicators of U.S. military preparations. However, there's no verified evidence linking the pizza orders to defense operations. Again, I don't believe in fucking coincidences. That the doomsday plane just landed in this motherfucker a day ago. In less than 6 days ago, let's just say about, was it 10th now? Yes, 10th now. Less than 7 days ago. Yes, 33-degree Masons. Number 3. Masonic numbers. Yes, Masonic. That's what we're getting at. So, less than 7 days ago, on the 9th, 3x3, on the 9th, the doomsday plane landed. On the 3rd, the spikes happened. You follow here. I don't know what's going to happen on the 12th, but things are leaning a little bit towards a bad direction. And like I said, I've said throughout all last year, keep your third eye open and your head in a swivel, and fact is never fiction. That couldn't be more important than now. So I want people to be very aware of what is to come within these next few months. Fuck the next week. The next few months is about to be more ridiculous than you ever seen. That's what I'm starting. That's why another reason I've been trying to just take some time to myself and just enjoy just chilling, being in the game for a bit. Because it's like, yo, all this shit that's about to happen, you're not going to be able to enjoy life the way you used to. I'm just here to let y'all know that. If anybody's going to let y'all know about these type of things, it's me. You're just not going to be able to enjoy life the way you used to within these next 3 to 6 months. More and more shit is going to come out. More and more shit is going to happen. More threats of the U.S. is going to take place. Now, I did stumble upon a documentary that, puts a little bit more enlightenment on what we were just talking about with the pyramids of Giza, as well as the early days, or should I say, the experiments they did involving reptilians. And what this gentleman, Uri Geller, is even referring to. I'm going to now revert to my boy from the Y-Files, of course. Because there is a documentary called The Seventh Experiment, Lacerta. And this goes back to, again, revealing the truth of our creation with the Anunnaki.
This episode of the Y-Files is brought to you by PDS Debt.
Again, I would like to fast forward past his ads and all that other stuff. But the reason I am not able to go past the ads is because whenever I stream, they pretty much, who's writing the script? It's a good question. Yes, this season of America is definitely about to be wild. What I was going to say is the reason why I can't is for some strange reason over the past couple of months, whenever I play a video here while I'm streaming, it doesn't allow me to move it back or fast forward it through anything. It just makes me play it straight out. And I don't have a player necessarily that even bypasses that. So if he goes through any ads or whatnot, I apologize. I'm not able to move forward past those ads.
On December 16th, 1999, 3 things happened in Old K's office. His pencil levitated, his coffee froze solid, and the woman sitting across from him wasn't human. Old K had built his career debunking every alien story, every paranormal claim, every supernatural sighting. He'd seen every trick, he knew every technique. His articles had ruined careers and earned him a reputation as a tough professional skeptic. But now his pencil was floating above his desk. The being across from him called herself Lacerda. She told him how humanity was created and how it would end. And she could prove it. The world's most notorious UFO skeptic was about to understand why some stories can't be debunked.
Human, quick! It's an emergency! Code Goldenrod. I repeat, code Goldenrod.
Code Goldenrod. Hang on, I have to look that one up.
Oh, for crying out loud. It was in Tuesday's security briefing. You really need to work in your trade craft. Goldenrod means financial emergency.
Well, what happened now?
Well, remember that little growing operation I had in your garage? My blow-up-ist garden?
That alien plant that you used to relax?
It's medicinal blow-up-ist. Anyway, I spent all my money on a hydroponic system. Then the Men in Black showed up.
The actual Men in Black?
Well, they were wearing black suits. They might have been the HOA board, but they confiscated everything. And now they're sending me a dry cleaning bill.
Dry cleaning bill? Why?
Well, Gertie had an allergic reaction to the blow-up-ist and sneezed all over them. Do you know how much it costs to remove camel mucus from Italian suits? Oh, it's not your fault, baby. It's not you. Who knew you were allergic to alien flora? Now I'm drowning in debt, and Gertie's almost out of hump lotion.
Please stop giving me details and just call PDS debt.
Oh, did you just lick and roll your way into today's sponsor?
Well, yes, I did. Many of us will get deeper into debt during the holidays. Last year, half of American consumers took on debt just to pay for the holidays. It's never too early to start planning to get out, and PDS Debt can help you with a personalized solution.
I always noticed that. He's got like a Boston accent to him. I'm not his Israeli accent, but definitely a Boston accent to him.
Credit cards, personal loans, collections.
Again, like I said, apologize for the ads. For some reason, when I am streaming, it doesn't allow me to actually fast forward these anymore. Like the button is completely disabled if you look at it. It's just completely, it's grayed out. Like I literally am not allowed to do it. I don't know why. I mean, I have an idea why, of course. I'm trying to lessen the audience and whatnot that doesn't necessarily care about these ads and whatnot and product placement. But like I said, I get it. I get it. I just wish it would allow me to fast forward past some of these things sometimes. But anywho, again, we are looking at the seventh experiment in relation to the reptilians and how we were supposedly created out here.
Old K arrived early to set up his equipment. One camera, one tape recorder. That's all Lacerda allowed. Every hoaxer had rules. He didn't argue, he figured he'd be out in an hour. The story was obviously fake. Lacerda claimed to be from a race of beings living deep within the earth.
Lizard.
Some say they're shapeshifters. They don't change shape, they change the way the human brain sees them.
Lizard.
They're highly evolved and intelligent with extremely advanced technology. They are
Lizard.
reptilians.
Lizard people!
The Lacerda files appeared online in the early 2000s. They're transcripts of two interviews, one from 1999 and one from 2000. A journalist known as Old K spoke with a female reptilian who calls herself Lacerda when she's with humans. Apparently, we can't pronounce her real name, and mispronouncing someone's name in her culture is offensive.
This sounds like a millennial lizard people. How old is she? Is she on TikTok?
She's 28 years old.
Checks out.
She was around 5'5" and humanoid. Her skin was pale green with brown dots, and her eyes were larger than human eyes with vertical slits for pupils. And when she blinked, a transparent membrane slid sideways across her eyes. Her species is called the Tern. They lived beneath the earth for millions of years in vast cities carved from solid rock. I linked to the full text, and you'll want to read it. But here's what matters. Lacerda knew things about ancient cultures, quantum mechanics, computer science. She said humans didn't evolve. We were engineered by aliens who needed slaves.
Yeah, Nunaki.
Right, they have many names.
The beings you call the Elohim, we knew them as the Ilojim. They needed workers. They found primitive apes and began their experiments. But you aren't the first attempt. You're the 7th.
Whoa, wait, what? Humans are version 7?
Well, each version was an experiment. Create, test, destroy, then start again. The Ilojim left Earth before finishing version 7. Now they're coming back to fix their mistake. Lacerda's story began not with her species, but with ours. She said human evolution is a lie. We were created by aliens called the Ilojim. They come from the star system we call Aldebaran.
Oh, I thought the Death Star blew up Alderaan.
Aldebaran.
What'd I say?
The Ilojim arrived on Earth 1.5 million years ago to mine copper. This would require a large labor force. So they altered a primitive ape's genetics and created a new species to do the work. Version 1 was promising, but flawed, so they wiped it out and started again. And again. Lacerda says the evidence of these earlier versions is all around us. Archaeologists say the Great Pyramid of Giza was built around 2500 BC.
Fake news. It's way older than that.
Well, Lacerda agrees. The Egyptians didn't build the pyramids, they found them. The Great Pyramid was built 75,000 years ago by the 5th version of humanity. The underwater ruins near Bimini were built 16,000 years ago by the 6th version. Perfect angles cut into massive stone blocks using techniques we only mastered in the last century. The Ilojim accelerated our evolution. Look at our timeline. 2 million years to improve a spear. Then in a few thousand years, writing, electricity, landing a man on the moon.
Well, that never happened. But you monkeys got to orbit. I'll give you that.
Fine. My point is, we went from hunter-gatherers to a spacefaring species in a fraction of the time it took to go from Homo habilis to Homo erectus.
Yeah.
Stop it. Our DNA contains genes that don't match our ancestors. Dr. James Gates found error-correcting code embedded in human DNA, proof we were engineered, not evolved. Now, this is not a new concept. Almost every ancient culture tells the same creation story. Beings of light arrived in massive ships. They created humans, gave them knowledge. Not from kindness, they needed intelligent slaves. But not too intelligent. That's why they destroyed versions 5 and 6. Millions died because they asked too many questions.
How'd they whack a whole planet?
Earthquakes, volcanoes, sometimes floods.
Younger Dryas flood.
That was the last reset. Every culture has a flood myth because it happened. Lacerda expects the Ilojim to return and finish their work. And we have no way to stop them. We don't have the technology to fight, and there's nowhere to hide. We can't go underground. Underground belongs to the lizards. The Derinkuyu underground city in Turkey is a puzzle. 18 levels deep, almost 300 feet below the surface. It has a ventilation system, a fresh water system. Acoustic chambers are tuned to specific frequencies. It was allegedly built with Bronze Age technology, but the truth is nobody knows who built it or when.
Derinkuyu linked down in the old washed up.
According to Lacerda, Derinkuyu isn't an ancient human city. It's an entrance to the Turan civilization, a vast network of cities underground. Their main settlements are 14,000 feet below the Earth's surface, and each city is about 1.5 miles wide, carved into solid bedrock. At the center is the Column, a 700-foot tower. It regulates climate, generates artificial sunlight, and manages the airflow.
Oh, it's like a lizard Alexa.
I guess so, yeah.
Hey, Alexa.
Don't do that.
Hey, Alexa, write a dirty limerick about the crab cat.
Why did you do that? We have kids watching.
Fear the crab cat.
The Hypogeum in Malta has similar mysteries. Discovered in 1902, this underground structure also features unusual acoustic properties. How the huge stones were cut is still debated.
Giants of Malta linked down in the old Gibble Goblet.
Cave systems in China reveal extensive tunnels. South American myths describe vast underground networks. Geological surveys have detected hollow spaces deep beneath the surface, but our technology can't reach them. There is one place underground that our technology can reach that's raised a few questions. Geologists studying the Chicxulub impact crater in the Yucatan Peninsula found layers of rock transformed by intense heat and pressure, but not from above, from below. According to Lacerda, these aren't random formations. They're scars, evidence of a war for copper. We know what killed the dinosaurs. An asteroid hit the Yucatan Peninsula about 66 million years ago. The impact left iridium in the geological record. But Lacerda says we have it backwards. The iridium wasn't from space. It was fallout from a nuclear weapon that used copper as fuel.
What's so fancy about copper?
When copper undergoes nuclear fusion under specific conditions, it creates elements that shouldn't exist.
Copper is a very important material. If you induce a high electromagnetic field in the right angle, you produce an overcrossing of fluctuating fields. The fusion of copper with other elements in such a magnetic radiation field chamber can produce a force field of special nature that is very useful for various technological tasks.
Oh, thanks. That clears it up. What is she talking about? I don't speak lizard.
She said copper can produce energy fields that can manipulate gravity, space, and time. UFOs use this for propulsion. The craft creates a field oppositely aligned with the Earth's magnetic field.
Oh, so now you speak lizard.
When the same poles from two magnets are close to each other, they create a repelling field. UFOs use copper fusion to create a field that pushes against the Earth's magnetic field. This is how they fly.
It actually makes sense.
But the magnetic field of the Earth is constantly moving. The UFOs have to adjust their alignment, and this is hard to do. Sometimes they fail. That's what happened in Roswell in 1947. 2 ships crashed. According to Lacerda, 2 alien species discovered Earth at the same time millions of years ago. Humanoids from Procyon arrived first. They built copper mines in Antarctica and Asia, and their ships filled the skies. Then another species arrived, reptilians with their own copper fusion technology, and they wanted Earth's copper. The Procyons refused to share.
Now, notice how they also talked about the same exact place that we found out about when we watched the movie about the Dark Moon. They're talking about them landing in Antarctica. Now, we've spoke about this before here on the podcast, how we believe that Antarctica, among different places and different islands and parts of the water, Antarctica pretty much is the home base of the real Area 51 in my belief. Everyone just thinks Area 51 in Vegas, or should I say near Area 51 in Vegas is pretty much, the only thing or the only place where they have the aliens. No. Different coasts, but mainly Antarctica is pretty much where that base is. And even there's been videos of the reptilian man. You can't even find the actual, if you try to click on the spot where that guy was found in the ice in Antarctica, you can't even click it anymore. But again, it just goes to show you, even with dating back to these documents of these experiments, on how far back Antarctica goes with it being the main original base for where aliens or even our creators first landed.
The war lasted months. The Procyons were winning until the reptilians deployed their ultimate weapon, a copper fusion bomb. It detonated in the Yucatan. They expected it to kill all surface life while preserving mineral deposits, but something went wrong. Earth's seawater triggered a chain reaction, and the nuclear winter lasted 200 years. And most dinosaurs died, but some escaped underground. One species, an advanced iguanodon, evolved into the tern, Lacerda's ancestors. Before the extinction event, iguanodons were evolving to walk on 2 legs, and they were evolving an opposable thumb.
Your human scientists today see the iridium concentration in the ground as an evidence for an asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs. That is not true. But how should you know that?
Modern militaries are trying to recreate copper fusion technology, but Lacerda says they're following blueprints they don't understand. The process requires a deeper knowledge, not just of physics, but of biology. Because the real power of copper fusion isn't just about manipulating matter. It's about manipulating human consciousness.
And the first thing I think of when I hear about the copper fusion is how they recently just discontinued the penny.
During the second interview with Old K, Lacerda demonstrated the Turn's psychic abilities. First, telekinesis. Lacerda held out her hand. His hot coffee froze instantly. A pencil rose from the table. Old K was stunned.
This isn't magic. It's biology. We are able to use telepathy and telekinesis from our birth.
Too much reality. What's going on?
The structure of our brain is a little bit different and more active than yours, especially when we are in sunlight. When we are on the surface and we meet human beings, we are able to touch their mind and induce them via telepathy the command, "See us as one of your kind," and the weak human mind will accept this order without refusing, and they will see us despite our reptilian look.
Thus, exactly what we saw in the movie They Live. And this is what I was talking about before, where we're not able to see certain things in different dimensions on a certain layer beyond our regular conscious mind because we're programmed to see things as regular humans. We're not programmed, or I should say, we're not able to see and use our bare consciousness. We're pretty much like this, right? We only use a certain percentage of our brain. That's not, it's not by coincidence that we're only allowed to use a certain percentage of our brain, if you think about it like that, right? Imagine if we did use 100% of our brain power and we were able to see these beings.
As normal humans.
Wait, lizard people could be anywhere. Looking all human-y.
They could be.
What the most important thing in our lives is, before we have come to this world in general, not only on New Year's Eve, but basically every...
I showed y'all this lady before. I showed y'all a couple of videos with this lady before. This is an AI. I repeat, this is not AI. I showed y'all this lady before, and she was literally sitting down doing interviews where she was telling people she was from another fucking planet and doing that with her eyes just to say, hey, I am not from here.
I knew it! Daddy Illuminati!
The Turn are not the Illuminati.
Okay. Ugh.
Different reptilians are. Lacerda's people avoid humans, but another reptilian race controls Earth. If you know David Icke's work, her story confirms a lot of it. Icke said that a race of shape-shifting reptilians from the Draco star system has infiltrated the world's power structures.
Say that the people that actually live on the island are part of this. There are people, there's a network on the island that are...
Big time. The Isle of Wight is a beautiful place, and if you pick up the higher levels, the vibrational levels of it, it's a very pleasant place to be. But my goodness me, there is a network of Freemasons, Satanists, and pedophiles that run this island.
And this is
they run its
police,
government,
the government, everything.
They're disguised as leaders in finance, media, and politics. They manipulate global events, steering us toward a one-world government.
This is common knowledge.
Icke says they operate from the moon, an artificial base built by ancient aliens.
Hollow moon link down in your bento box.
The moon broadcasts frequencies that create negative emotions. The reptilians feed on this.
Humans or lizard people lunch episode. Link down in your, I got nothing.
Yeah, I've covered bits and pieces of Icke's work here and there, but he needs his own episode. He has a lot of interesting theories.
Specs.
Now, if you want to see that, let me know. All right, where we at?
The lizard lady was throwing pencils around and manipulating you weak-minded humans.
Right. Old K sees Lacerda's true form only because she allows it. She normally appears as an attractive brunette.
Oh, what? Nobody wants to appear as a chunky ginger.
Be nice. Lacerda says that humans have these same abilities, but the Illogym suppress them, and some governments are aware of this. The Pentagon's ESP research wasn't just about human psychics. They studied sites where magnetic field fluctuations altered children's brainwaves. The classified report concluded the Illogym left something in human DNA, and whatever it is, it's waking up. Earth's magnetic North Pole is moving faster than ever recorded, about 35 miles per year. The World Magnetic Model can't keep up, and scientists don't fully understand why. Lacerda says these disturbances are part of the Illogym's plan. They built triggers into human DNA, programming that activates under specific conditions. The shifting magnetic field affects human consciousness.
The Illogym didn't just want workers, they wanted weapons. Living weapons that would evolve exactly as planned. Your rapid technological advancement wasn't an accident. It was programmed into your DNA.
3 alien species are coming for Earth. One needs human genetics, another wants hydrogen from our oceans, and the third wants copper for weapons. The Iligium engineered us to defeat them all.
Your creators didn't just give you intelligence, they gave you aggression, territorial instincts, pack mentality. They built you to fight. The 7th version wasn't their final creation. It was their first successful prototype.
So the Iligium aren't coming to destroy humanity. They're coming to complete what they started. The question isn't whether we'll survive, it's whether we'll still be human when they're done. When the Lacerda files landed on the web in the early 2000s, it got people's attention. Dinosaurs killed by alien wars, humans engineered by ancient astronauts, underground reptilian cities, magnetic fields controlling human consciousness. It's an incredible story and has a lot of supporters. But is it true? Let's separate fact from speculation. Derinkuyu exists. It's an underground city in Turkey, extending roughly 280 feet below the surface. Its ventilation system still fascinates engineers. Some say the stonework shows signs of advanced technology, but most experts believe that people were just really talented. The Malta hypogeum is famous for its acoustic properties. Chambers are tuned to 110 hertz, and nobody knows why. The site's stonework is also very precise. While no mainstream evidence suggests it's beyond Neolithic capabilities, the skill involved is still impressive. Geological surveys confirm vast cave networks winding deep beneath the Earth's surface. And this brings out the hollow Earth theories. Now, until we can see with our own eyes, all we can do is guess. Deep-sea monitoring stations record unexplained sounds like the bloop. Experts say they're ice quakes or marine life. Maybe, but parts of the ocean are too deep to reach for now. The Chicxulub crater marked an asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs, and most scientists agree. But there are some who say that the heat and pressure came from below. Now, scientists laugh at those people, but honestly, the asteroid killing the dinosaurs theory is pretty new. When I was a kid, people got laughed at for believing this. It wasn't until the early 1990s that the crater was found. So as always, the only thing separating a conspiracy from the truth is time. Our own evolution raises questions too. It took early humans hundreds of thousands of years to refine stone tools. Then suddenly agriculture, written language, advanced technology. Now, anthropologists say once we learned to write, technology could accelerate because now we had a way of passing information along. I'm open-minded about the ancient advanced civilization theory, but I'm not a full believer. Still, I'll watch and read anything that Graham Hancock puts out. Earth's magnetic pole moves between 25 and 35 miles per year, the fastest rate ever recorded. It's definitely happening. Now, I don't think aliens caused it, but if you want nightmares about pole shifts, watch our episode on the Adam and Eve story.
Adam and Eve nightmare fuel link down in your honey hole.
Now, read the transcripts. It's either scientific genius or nonsense, and I'm not smart enough to tell. It's full of terms like quantum technology for bubble walking in the omniverse and reptilian parathalamus matter interaction.
Who wrote this thing, Terrence Howard?
Please don't say that. He watches this channel. Now, the biggest problem with the Lacerda file story is that old K's identity has never been confirmed. He's called K after Tommy Lee Jones's character from The Men in Black.
Here come the Men in Black, the Galaxy Defenders.
True or not, the Lacerda Files is a fun read. Now, so far, there's no documented proof of contact with non-human intelligence. Every year we get teased about disclosure, but I won't hold my breath. I think we've had contact, but I don't think they're going to tell us. And you've heard me say that I don't think UFOs are from another planet. If you look at the ancient structures underground, the patterns in our history, the anomalies in our DNA, the evidence doesn't point to something from another world. It points to something that never left. Thank you so much for hanging out today. My name is AJ. That's Hecklefish.
We had a minute.
This has been the Y-Files. If you had fun or learned anything, do him a favor. Subscribe, comment, like, share. It doesn't take much effort, but that stuff really helps. And like most topics we cover here on the channel, today's was recommended by you.
So real quick, I want to show y'all also that lady that I was talking about. I didn't pull up a whatchamacallit of it, but
right foot, 2 stars.
This is a little short video because it looks like they've taken down her actual interviews where she sat down and talked to people. Of course, I can't play the audio because it's music with it, but just so you can see for yourself what I was talking about. Like if you literally put in Anunnaki, CHANA, she comes up everywhere.
Подселение Анунака на физическое тело человека.
Когда представители расы анунаков пребывают в теле землянина, то в человеческом теле могут происходить изменения.
Скажите, пожалуйста, влияет ли подселение Анунака на физическое тело человека?
Когда представители расы анунаков пребывают в теле землянина, то в человеческом теле могут происходить изменения. Но эти
Y'all saw that, right? Y'all saw her eyes? I'm not bullshit. Like...
Физическое тело человека.
Когда представители расы анунаков пребывают в теле землянина, то в человеческом теле могут происходить изменения.
I tried to catch it,
Но
but
эти
I
физиологические
tried to pause it right when her eyes do it, but you saw it just now again.
могут происходить изменения.
There it is.
Но эти физиологические метаморфозы, как правило, носят временный характер и обусловлены доминирующим потенциалом расы анунаков над примитивной человеческой физиологией.
So I'm going to read back what she said. I'm going to read back what she said. I know some of y'all was just looking at her eyes. Weren't necessarily paying attention to what she said.
Жанна,
So, Zana, could you please
Скажите,
say
пожалуйста, влияет
whether
ли
an
подселение
indwelling of
Анунака на
Anunnaki
физическое
affects a
тело
person's physical
человека?
body?
Когда
When
представители расы
representatives of the
анунаков
Anunnaki
пребывают в
race
теле
stay in an
землянина,
earthling's
то в
body, there
человеческом
may be
теле
changes in the human
могут
body.
происходить изменения. Но эти
These
физиологические
physiological
метаморфозы,
metamorphoses
как правило, носят временный
are
характер
usually
и
temporary and are
обусловлены
caused by the
доминирующим
dominant
потенциалом
potential of
расы
the
анунаков
Anunnaki race
над примитивной
or over the
человеческой
primitive human
физиологией.
physiology. Trippy, huh? Like I said, I remember this video from a minute ago when we was looking at this lady, and I was like, oh. That's the first thing I thought of when they was even talking about the whole what could be down there. Or should I say, what could be pretty much on the island. This is one of the first things I thought of. I was like, oh, they're going to really tap into shit. Remember, like I said, Project Bluebeam, the whole thing. I don't want to turn my volume down. Make sure I didn't do that just now. The whole reason for Project Bluebeam is the one world monarchy. But it's also to show us what a lot of things that we didn't know in general. Is to pretty much just put together all of the truths and all of the facts, pretty much denounce Christianity and all the religions that pretty much were used and created to control us, and pretty much give us the actual facts of what the original religion was from the Anunnaki and what we were created to actually do. Now, it's unsettling to me how much I have to think about it, and you know, but we were put on this earth to work. We were literally put on this world to work. Not necessarily be slaves, but we were pretty much engineered to be the everyday worker. So regardless of what it is and what you do, that is part of your universe and part of your dimension. I should say part of your world, to where you are supposed to be doing your own work and due diligence and things. And there's even, as they say, God will put you on the right path. There are certain indications that you will get in those signs that you are on the right path and doing the right thing. and that is what you are supposed to be working at as far as your actual craftsmanship. Apparently, this is my craftsmanship. I have many other talents and things I could do, but apparently this is supposed to be my craftsmanship. So I'm not going to be shying away from it. The more and more I uncover things, the more and more I see, well, maybe this is supposed to, not even maybe, the more I see that and solidify, this is supposed to be what I'm supposed to be doing here. Like, this is supposed to be my purpose I'm set out to do, is to enlighten you all and let you guys know of the different things that are out there. And of course, to discuss it in fellowship and build upon these types of things. We may laugh and joke about other things that are going on. And I notice as I do this pod, whenever I even get on these type of topics, the audience starts to dwindle down. But this is one of the main things about, this is one of the main things that I try to discuss on the channel more than anything. We can talk about Diddy. We can talk about, human trafficking and things like that. But when it gets down to it, and the reason why I don't like to talk about surface level bullshit with politics is because at the end of the day, this is what they're trying to hide. When we talking about the Epstein files and shit like that, at the surface level, yeah, Epstein sleeping with kids and whatnot, that's the surface level part of that shit. When you get to the real part of that shit, and the reason why he's even obsessed with these, or I should say why human trafficking is a $150 billion business and he has kids, this is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons why they won't release all of the Epstein files, is because then they would have to get into Freemasonry, ancient Egypt, Anunnaki. They would have to get into reptilians, draconians. They would have to get into all that shit, which Epstein was a fucking draconian reptilian. For all we know, Trump could be a draconian or reptilian. Not even could be, probably is. Like I said, via the Enki and Lil story that we saw with the Dark Moon, literally was talking about how Enki is going to be, I think, was it Enki? Actually, both of them. But Enki and Lil was pretty much going to be going through these different forms in which they would appear in human form throughout the centuries. At the end of the day, this is what they are. We can shove around the whole alien thing all we want, but at the end of the day, it's not really about aliens and humans. Because if we really break it down, aliens created humans. However you want to perceive that and acknowledge it, that is the actual truth. We are creations of the Anunnaki. Whether or not the Anunnaki was part reptilian or not, that part remains to be seen. That is the part that I'm waiting to uncover as far as the facts go. What were the Anunnaki? Were they just golden gods in our image? As far as, our melanin, which is supposed to be actually the essence of melanin is supposed to be gold. Were they that? Or were they a hybrid of reptilians that created us? Or was it the Anunnaki that created the reptilians in their nation, and the reptilians ended up creating us after the Nephilim actually rebelled against them? Is that what happened? I believe what Uri Geller is trying to get Donald Trump to do, like he kept emphasizing that he owns the surrounding waters and he wants the U.S. military to come there. Reason why he's even putting up pictures, of showing where he's at, or should say, showing him and Trump looking at an alien. Again, guys, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe he's also trying to get Trump to just say fuck it and tell us the truth. But of course, we know that there's a bigger plan and why they can't just tell us the truth yet. Certain things have to happen in order first. I said before, supposedly World War III has to confirm and commence before Bluebeam. I've said it here numerous times, so that's why I'm not surprised Bluebeam hasn't happened yet, because the other thing hasn't happened yet. The war with Iran has to commence first, and we have to be in total chaos for the next step, which is Bluebeam and the big show happening, to where we all stop and say, what the fuck is that? What is going on? And all of our attention is on the sky. And that's when everything changes. Like I said, it's not also a coincidence that the Godzilla Kong movie is in series now is literally based upon these same exact things happening. It's not a coincidence that they had a fight at the fucking pyramids. Hollow Earth. Harnessing ancient energy. Ancient Anunnaki civilization energy. It's not a coincidence those things are hiding in plain sight in these movies. But don't shoot the messenger. Now, I would actually like to keep this as its own video in itself. I know this is 1 o'clock right now. Would it be considered early? Would it be considered early or not? I actually want to do an earlier pod tomorrow. Probably about 5 or 6 in the afternoon. I will put out the posting tomorrow. We'll knock some information out. We won't be going along the lines of this stuff. Again, like I said, I like to keep these things as their own video. But we will dibble and dabble in what happened with Cameron and Jim Jones and 50 Cent, Papoose. Also, what else did I have on the itinerary? I'm hungry. I have a headache, so I'm going to take myself and lay down and figure something else out for tomorrow. What else did I have? Oh, I wanted to get into the shooting of the woman by ICE. Also, like I said, I wanted to make this his own episode, and tomorrow have something out as well. So I have a few topics already to cover for tomorrow, to cover us for another 2 or 3 hours. Also, I am you're gonna see me all through next week. I think we're gonna start, like I said, doing things Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So expect me back again after tomorrow. Expect me back again on Monday and Wednesday of next week for earlier pods. And I will be putting I'm not going to say what it is, but the long-awaited video, if you've been paying attention, the long-awaited video for Patreon, as well as I've been able to free up some spaces on Patreon recently. Hallelujah. Because they wouldn't let me upload anything else on there because I didn't free up any space. So I finally was able to gain some more storage for the Patreon space. Sorry for the longer wait for this, but you guys will have something special on there this week. I want to say 2 videos, actually. Because I did put together a second one. Now that I have the space and storage to do it. Also, my storage was getting pretty fucked up and full on this laptop, so I was able to, like I said, just do some cleaning over the past week or so, just to get this thing running smoothly, as you've seen it run smoothly this evening. So, Yeah, it's 2 a.m. where you. What's going on, Jay Porter? What's going on? Yeah, it's 2 a.m. where you at? That's what I'm saying. It's only 1 o'clock where I'm at. So I'm like, I'm privy to the fact I know we have different audiences from different parts of the world on here. We've had John Asatasi from Hawaii. I believe there was somebody that was here from Paris at one point. Forget Tam and Jim Jones. They know they shit is tired. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. It was a couple things I had on the itinerary. I was like the Aiden Ross thing, the Cam and Jim Jones, and I'm like, them niggas is 50 years old. Do I really? And I even titled it Cam versus Jim Jones again. I titled it just like that in my notes. I'm like, again, like, you niggas is 50 years old. Cut it the fuck out already. Ain't nobody like wait, what was it? Stink Mina and the old I can't remember his name now. Remember Boondocks when Stink Mina had the beef with the other old guy? And that's what this feels like to me. Another Stink Mina fight with either Cameron. You say Jim Jones. No, Cameron and Stink Mina. What am I referring to? Hold on. Stink Mina versus Granddad. Freeman. Freeman. Stink Mina versus Freeman. That's what this remind me of. Stink Mina versus Freeman from the Boondocks. That's when I think of Cameron and Jim Jones, I think of these two. We don't need to know about y'all no more. We don't need to know y'all pretty much ain't even important no more. As far as y'all back and forth beef that has been going on for damn near 20 years now. It's done. It's done. But anywho, once again, if you guys, I did put it in the chat. If you guys would like to help out and donate to the pod, we have a small $50 goal that we try to hit. If you guys could donate $10, $20, anything at all, $5 even. If you guys could donate anything at all, I would greatly appreciate it. A great deal. It would put food in the fridge. It would help me get back and forth to work, so on and so forth. As well as you see here now, I have proper lighting for the podcast. So it's not like I've been wasteful of the money. Like I said, things are expensive. Things are only going up and up and up. But yeah, anything at all, any type of help at all is well appreciated. And like I said, I will be back here tomorrow for another episode of this. We'll be here for another 2 or 3 hours. I do want to do some digging as far as more of this ancient magic that supposedly is in these Greenland islands. Because like I said, I think that there's more than him just asking Donald Trump to put the military base here in these islands. I don't necessarily think it's anything other than them trying to, again, show us what's really underneath underneath our world, I should say. And then I think about how the island was called Lamb. I'm already thinking about the Lamb of God. See how there's a play on words even there, the Lamb of God. And again, named after the common Norse word for small island lamb, is just 100 meters long and 50 meters wide. The illusionist Uri Geller bought the island in 2009 as he believed Lamb with Craigslist and Phaedra mirror the layout of the pyramids at Giza and are the key to an ancient Egyptian mystery. And he wants Donald Trump to have the U.S. military here. This shit is something straight out of a fucking movie. On top of now, we have Doomsday plane in LA. We have Pentagon pizza spikings. Guys, shit is about to hit the fan. It's already stinking in the room. Shit is about to hit the fan within these next few months. Prayers to all of us out there. Prayers to every last one of us out there. Keep your third eye open, your head on a swivel. Fact is never motherfucking fiction. Never will be. God damn it. And I'm gonna take my black ass on and lay on down to tomorrow. I shall be seeing you.
Girl, close your eyes. Let that rhythm get into you.
What it is you really do.
Shimmer, 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 shimmer.